Be interesting to see who's on the interchange here with some positional moves. So Montgomery on Tarrant and Mead starting forward. Nathan Buckley won the toss and Collingwood are kicking to the right of screen. Franco, first little give out to Guerra.
Nick Davis on Shea Cockatoo Collins. Be a first for him in defence.
Carr's kick to half forward. Pushing forward Wilson. Right towards Wanganeen. Good gift to Primus. Primus might get the first goal. It's a funny old kick. It's through.
Hit the post.
Did it hit the post? Well, it was a soccer type attempt in the end by the way it was keeping low. A couple of goalkeepers at the back trying to just nurse it home. Have a look at this. Boy, he is stiff.
Just quickly, guys, on the bench for Collingwood, Davis, Batheris, Didak and Rocker.
He may have also been lucky, Bruce. The ball did hit the boot, just.
Well, he's improved in that area this season, Jared. He really has. As Collingwood bring it out, Lucuria has it at halfback. They switch it grandstand side. Holland can go short. Has Malloy. As Paxman comes in late on the mark. So Port Adelaide wasting no time at all in this game going forward. Primus really started it in the middle. Ended up having the shot at goal. O'Brien, prolific kick getter with Collingwood.
He's a ball magnet.
He really is.
Kick
So
after kick. Occasionally kicks around the body, but on that occasion he was very accurate.
Yeah, occasionally goes a long way backwards if they have to try and start something. It was Loney, who now goes to Freeborn, one of the South Australians in this Collingwood side tonight. Johnson, centre wing, outer side, finds Clement, the former Docker. Almost at half forward now for Collingwood as they attempt to go into the forward 50 for the first time. No one really on the mark. Allows Clement to play on high. Kick to centre, half forward and unopposed. Darryl Wakeland takes the mark for Port Adelaide. He is just about the recruit of the season so far.
So Port bring it wide. Franco at half back. Searching kick for Wanganeen. Kept his eyes on it. Down low, trying to get out. He did very well to Cockatoo Collins, but it was a good play by Lucuria. The tackle on Johnson was clever from Wanganeen, and Stevens dropped it. Corns, I should say. Gets it back. Johnson's little one doesn't go far. Burgoyne, Franco. Confident kick to Francis. Doesn't take the mark. Puts them under the pump a bit. Back to Wilson. Little give okay. Or was it a throw? It's a throw.
Gee.
So Collingwood with a free kick here to McKee, who's come in for Mark Richardson, who's a late withdrawal. Has to be injured, Richardson, obviously. He's been in good form. So McKee's little one to Johnson. Johnson's kick wide for Buckley. He almost got to him. Guerra at halfback and bangs it high and hard. And Mead getting underneath. Can't take the mark. Fraser and Wakeland. This is Shane Wakeland, obviously. Bends his back and comes away. And they've got a couple out here. Malloy says it's mine, and he takes it about 60 metres from goal. He's got Tyson Lane on. Goes to the pocket, keeps it low. O'Brien the target. Good defence there from Franco. And then Montgomery back to Franco in the back pocket. Franco's chip not very good. Guerra had to really go. It comes down to Tyson Lane. Back to Buckley. Buckley deep in the pocket. Won a McGarry medal with Port Adelaide here in the old days. Back they go again. Holland gets it. He got it from Malloy, and Port hassled them to the boundary line.
Guys, the interchange for Port, Schofield, Lyle, Ackland and James.
So throw in left forward pocket for Collingwood. Franco already busy for Port Adelaide. 5 touches, 3 kicks, 2 handballs. Primus and McKee go at it. Primus brings it to the front of the pack. Chance for Burgoyne. Little chip over the top is good. And Stevens has it at half back. He'll go short as well. And finds Burgoyne. Good game for Peter Burgoyne last week against the West Coast Eagles. Found some form. The run provided by Kingsley to centre wing. Stevens unable to mark, and the ball goes out of play. Centre wing on the outer side. Tredrea with him is Shane Wakeland, so a good battle in prospect there. Of course, the Twins playing against each other for the first time, having been at the Port Magpies together, then at St Kilda as well. Both traded in the off-season. Quick kick forward by Burgoyne at half forward. Shea Cockatoo Collins, the real form player in the forward line for Port Adelaide, kicks forward. Mead couldn't take the mark. He'll be the first one to butter up. Well tackled. Kicks around the body. It eludes Wanganeen. Chance for Collingwood. They're back there in numbers. They're still under the pump. The Port Adelaide forwards doing well. Loney had a role in it, and eventually they cleared.
Well, terrific work there by Gavin Wanganeen, who just pressured and finally has caused the ball to be forced over the boundary line. They'll get another chance at a neutral ball to set up for a goal.
Primus front spot, Fraser at the back. Trying to break through there was Nick Davis. Franco, as Chris said, had a good start. To Carr, terrific kick, centering ball. Kingsley wanted to go. He's just outside his range here. Can he get a short option? He goes very short. Malloy doesn't touch it and Tredrea marks it. He's kicked 12-5, Jared. There's so much talk about Tredrea's kicking for goal, but he seems to have got it right, and he's been in good form. Played very well last week. He's had a couple of good matches after a knee injury in the Answer Cup, put him just behind the 8 ball early on.
Oh, I think the observation that his kicking has improved is absolutely spot on. He probably missed this one now, but he should be given credit for getting back from that knee injury as quickly as he did do. Dislocated kneecap, usually a 6 or 8 week, and he got back in under a month from memory.
He's kicked it. So Tredrea, the opening goal. It took a bit of getting, to be truthful.
Yeah. They actually looked as if they could have had 4 or 5 shots at goal. They had one from Matthew Primus, an unlikely shot at that, but this was just a good passage of play. They went a little bit more direct and found a genuine goal kicker, and they're off to an important start. Collingwood have won the ball pretty well, but they just haven't had any organisation at the moment going into their forward line.
So 7-zip early in this first quarter here at Football Park. The goal kicker, Warren Tredrea for Port Adelaide.
Reborn on Nick Stevens, should be a terrific tussle on the wing.
Primus, a good tap down to Burgoyne, who was tackled immediately. Lockyer gets under it, pushes the ball sideways, allows Clement to get it to Johnson. Buckley running hard centre wing. Has played on surely. He's gone 20 metres sideways. And in the end, well, the crowd may be helping out there, just forcing him to kick wide. He always cops a raspberry here at Footy Park. I'm sure the crowd deep down admire him. Such a great player. Started with Port Adelaide with the Magpies. As Port Adelaide bring it into Burgoyne now. The run from Carr to centre half forward. Wanganeen caught behind. Couldn't complete the mark. Reading it best of all. Chad Corns, check slide kick. What a terrific kick. Port Adelaide had their second, and Jared, he's reluctant to kick with the left, but if you can do that, I guess it's okay.
Well, the kick was brilliant, but what was incredible was the sidestep. The fact that he could see that there was some room, just a metre of it, to come inboard, and he took the challenge, rose it well. Now look at that one. There it is, just a sidestep onto the boot, the check side, as they call it here in Adelaide. Boomerang we go with in Melbourne. But no matter what we call it, it was a great passage of play, and another good goal to the Power.
Terrific crowd, probably around about 35, 38,000 here, and Port getting the start that they wanted. A couple of early goals. Tredrea and Corns, they're 2 key tall forwards with goals, and a ball up again. So a bit of toing and froing. Wilson now going down back. So there's some of the matchups with Wanganeen, Lucuria, Carr, Buckley, Mead and Loney, which is a surprising one. Still Montgomery on Tarrant. Fraser, who's really playing at centre half forward. Ball slapped back. Lockyer to Johnson's had a few touches. Malloy up the ground. Paxman tries to rip it off him. Malloy's handball okay. Gets it to Freeborn. Freeborn handball down the line. Not bad. Davis to Johnson. Now Collingwood just need to set it up here. Johnson's kicked to half forward. Lane got rid of Guerra, but Guerra got a fingertip to it. Boundary throw in. Lane hasn't played at this level since round 1 against Hawthorn. Had a good match at Williamstown last week. Kicked 6 or 7 goals on that occasion. Still Collingwood looking for their first score here. They're at half forward left. Primus takes it out of the air.
Well, he leads in the hard ball, gets you saw why. For a ruckman, it's quite phenomenal the work he does. Collingwood kick forward through Holland, getting back. Good strong mark. His second big mark already to Wakeland. Right on the last line of defence. Kicks to the outer side, and the run provided out there by Montgomery. who's lined up on Tarrant tonight. Goes back to Kingsley with the handball. The kick is good. The pass finds Cockatoo Collins, who goes to Burgoyne, has started well also. He and Franco very busy in the early minutes. He'll bring it into the middle to Kingsley. So 3 quick possessions for Kingsley in this play to Nick Stevens. Good shepherd provided by Wilson off the ball. The kick to Treadray. And you heard Gerard Healy say spot on.
Oh, it's a brilliant kick. He didn't kick the ball to where the player started from. He kicked it out and dragged him and forced him to just extend the body, extend the legs. And by doing so, there was no way known that that ball was ever going to be intercepted. It was a brilliant passage of play from Port Adelaide, who have changed significantly their style of play, one suspects. They did bring the ball back into the middle and then very direct straight down the corridor.
Treadray will kick from 35 out, slight angle. No mistake. He's got his second. Port Adelaide have their third.
Well, they've been up for a long time, Collingwood, and they haven't quite registered the victories that they would have liked. But right at this stage, you just hope that they can get a goal or two to give them some confidence, because if you let any side here playing in front of this crowd at Football Park, it's very difficult to drag yourself back into the match.
Presty hasn't had much on-field time, has he, the last 2 weeks, but he's getting some tonight and he's being tested.
And I think that he probably lost his spot in the starting 18 because he hasn't been able to, hasn't had the pace to go with some of the players that other players have matched up on. And against Treadray, the way the ball is coming down, it's going to be a difficult challenge for him.
So Collingwood forced to go back here. Johnson getting from Lockyer, and the kick to centre wing. Clement, he'll probably use Loney back to Clement. So Clement against the boundary, the kick to half forward, and Tarrant on a long lead, but very indirect, force wide boundary throw. And they've been on that flank a fair bit, haven't they, so far in this match, have the Magpies. What a talent he is. It's a very interesting article Mark Robinson had with him this morning in the Herald Sun. He's different, isn't he?
He's an interesting character. I spoke to Wayne Carey on the plane on the way over here tonight, and he had a couple of lemonades with him a while ago, and I think it was one of the highlights of Chris Tarrant's career that Wayne actually spoke to him.
He came out that way, that's for sure, Gerard. Kingsley to Francis. There's such confidence in this Port team. They're using one another. Franco's kick's a shabby one, looked off the boot. Treadray got a fair bit of it. Cockatoo Collins in the front spot. Buckley, wouldn't he love to play a wonderful match tonight and win it for Collingwood?
Whoa.
Stevens, Corns and Wakeland. There's a free kick, is it?
Out of play.
Out of play, so boundary throw in. Coming back to about half forward right. Well, yep, maybe.
Player was out.
Hard to tell. It looked pretty close, didn't it? But it looked a bit in. But we're not doing that job. Port with the dream start. 3 goals after working hard for their first. Treadray's stocks are high. Primus winning most of it. Aubrey, Stevens. Aubrey just drops it in the end. Cockatoo Collins, little toe poke out. Down low, Carr was terrific. Finds Stevens on the burst. He's within range. He's 50 out. It's a good-looking kick. He's drilled it home. This is a good team. They're a real footy team, this one, right now. If you stop this match right now and you'd say they're about the only team, maybe with Hawthorn, that would give the old Bombers a run the way they're playing.
Yeah, they are playing that sort of footy, Bruce. Instinctive footy. They've got a magnificent bunch of midfielders. They're not... They are not keeping hold of the ball themselves, trying to do it. They're just sharing it round. They've got some gifted finishes as well. Glenn Freeborn started on Nick Stevens, but hasn't been near him for the last 5 minutes. And he is hurting Collingwood, Nick Stevens.
So 5 scoring shots to nothing at the moment. Port Adelaide 4-1, and Collingwood yet to trouble the scorer. A real avalanche at the moment. And it's been starting here with Primus, although Buckley reads it beautifully. Gets it to Steinfort. Has to go with an awkward left foot kick high. Wakeland will come in. Great start for him as well. Switches it to the outer side. Look at the kick. Pinpoint accuracy also. Daryl Wakeland's playing a great quarter in defence for Port Adelaide. The kick now looking for Cockatoo Collins. He'll turn his opponent inside out and does.
There's a blue one on the wing.
There's a blue behind play. The Prez will keep us up to date with that as Mead fights for it at half forward for Port Adelaide. Now Treadray had the vision to get it to Francis. He had his arm pinned, got it to Wilson. High kick. 2-on-1 Port Adelaide have the numbers. Wakeland was there. Corns around the body. Marvellous kick. Was it touched?
Was it touched off the line?
Oh, gee, goal umpire in the end goes for the safety of the post.
He is a smiling assassin, that
I'd
goal
like to see
umpire.
this. He's right. He headed it into the post, I think.
Jeez, he
Might have been an own goal, was it?
Good effort
from the goal
umpire there to get that one spot on.
4-2-26.
The bad news for Collingwood is that Stuart Dew has not had a possession. Been picked up by James Clement, and well, his goal-kicking ability hasn't been on display yet.
That little introduction was between Buckley and Carr, the emergency umpire out there, but no names taken.
How'd you score it?
0-0 draw.
So Clement wide to Freeborn, just a little dainty one to Fraser. Back inboard, Davis running hard here
They're
to half forward.
Just playing Bruce the loose man across the half back line, and there he is with the ball. He hasn't got an opponent, and the Magpies are struggling to kick it into Tarrant up against two players.
So Darryl Wakeland, the man, he got it to Wilson. Just an awkward one for Carr. Buckley high tackle. Carr seduced him then, didn't he? He really did. He said, "Come at me, boy. Come on." He's a very, very good and mature player. He took Djakovic on physically last week. He's got some scalps this year, and he can sting you at the other end. He's kicked 8 goals in 7 matches going in. I haven't seen him take a backward step since I've been calling here. Guerra goes long to centre half forward. Collingwood with numbers. The ball out wide. Lane and Cockatoo Collins and Lucuria. Cockatoo Collins with a bit of pace. Lucuria's hip and shoulder a little bit in the back, maybe, but deemed to be fair, which you wouldn't argue too much about in a boundary throw in. 4-2-0. Collingwood need a goal. They just need to get that scoreboard ticking over. They haven't been able to get it past Darryl Wakeland, who's on his own, as Fletcher was a few weeks ago when we were up there in Sydney for that Friday night game.
Fraser gets the tap to the front. Lockyer fighting hard with Primus. Umpire will ball it up. About 60 out from the Port Adelaide goal. They've done all the attacking, the power in this opening term. 17.5 minutes gone. And Collingwood still yet to score. And central umpire just going over to Nathan Buckley for a word.
Yeah, he's got a nick under his eye. Pretty sure he's had that nick under his eye for a while. We saw it before. And finally he comes from the ground.
Jared, maybe that was one zip in that encounter.
one got through. So Rocker comes on for Collingwood. Wakeland immediately picks him up. So bounce down, as we said, 60 out from the Port Adelaide goal. Primus, great tap for Francis. The kick wasn't so good. Hard work for Chad Corns. Overran it, Wanganeen. Quick handball over the top. Stuart Dew still yet to get a touch. Nearly got hold of it there. And the ball is out of play in Port Adelaide's left forward pocket.
Working on Buckley. Neil Baum there, we can see, so well known here. Premiership coach with Norwood. Know this ground really well, Barmy. Primus probably just won it. Nick Davis getting a few touches. Good prospect. Goal-kicking youngster. The kick to Rocker and Wakeland. Now to Stevens having a terrific first term. Chips it to centre half forward. Oh, almost front spot Corns. Burgoyne's handball. Front spot Dew. Paxman up there. Good play Freeborn. Wanted to go inside. Couldn't quite. Then gets away from the tackle and kicks cleverly to Tyson Lane. Doesn't take the mark. Carr wraps him up. It's got him. Good tackle. Lane able to get it out towards Steinfort. Pushing forward. Now Collingwood a chance. Rocker cleverly to Lane, to O'Brien. They've got to make this count. The Maggie short to Tarrant. Got him just within range, I reckon, on the 50. He's the only player in the competition going into this round who'd kicked 5 goals in more than 2 matches this year, and he's decided to go short. Loney the target, left footer from the pocket.
Well, no, O'Brien and Stevens are now running together, and I think the change was made about 5 minutes ago, and we know that O'Brien's a very attacking player. Has been used to being picked up in recent weeks, and he's just let his man in Stevens get away from him.
One of the recruits of the year, Loney. Good kick from the pocket. It's a goal. That's what Collingwood needed. He's got a lot of poise, hasn't he, Jared? Loney at 18 years of age.
and he's just got that extremely good left foot that he can convert. I saw him kick a couple of goals on Anzac Day, running deep from defence. He's certainly going to be pushing up there when the ANZ AFL Rising Star Awards are announced. He's already been nominated as one of the weekly winners. And it's this sort of conversion that suggests that he may well become a great half forward or midfielder.
4-2, plays one straight goal. Deep into this opening term, 20.5 minutes gone.
Collingwood are winning the centre clearances at the moment 3-1. As far as inside 50, it's very even. Port doing the better conversion.
Franco took it from Stevens. Left foot kick. Treadray on a lead. Tough one to mark. In the way was Loney. Freeborn does well. Gets it back to Johnson. They can mount an attack from half back. Lucuria. And Fraser. Strong mark in the middle. O'Brien. So now the confidence building for Collingwood. Last couple of minutes have been much better. Although Port Adelaide have the numbers back here now. Guerra, pretty cool over the top. In fact, Guerra's got it now. Took it from Montgomery to Paxman deep in the back pocket. And he just walks it over the boundary line. How deliberate, and it's been paid.
Buckley back onto the ground, as you can obviously see. And Tarrant gets his first possession.
I don't think any arguments there as Paxman just walked over the boundary line.
In fact, he's had one kick prior to this.
So Tarrant right up against the boundary line. Tough kick for a left footer on that side. Looking for a lead. Freeborn gives him one short. Now the little chip over the top. Getting in the way was Burgoyne with courage because Rocker was coming out like a steam train. The ball out of play, left forward pocket.
Cockatoo Collins off for Port and Schofield on. So Collingwood edging back here. Another goal here will do wonders for them. They've had enough of the play. Primus taking it out of there. Freeborn courageously, and then Rocker did well to Buckley. Clever kick. Well done to Steinford. So the signs are good here for Collingwood. They've been rushed a bit early, but they've been able to hang in, and now they've got a chance to get back to within a couple of goals. Run with player Steinford. Kicks from about 45 metres. Close, close. They like it. He's got it. Just feel, Jared, that's what they're going to have to do. Take it the most of their chances tonight to hang in, and that's what they're doing. 4-2 to 2 goals.
Yeah, they've had just a couple of shots at goal, Bruce. They've converted both of them. That's a nice setup from Nathan Buckley. Steinford, he's picking up Franco, and he just drifted off him, and Mick Mullis will be very pleased that they've hurt Franco on the scoreboard. Franco, of course, still picking up plenty of touches.
Margin back to 14 points. Jared, I think for the amount of ball they've had, Collingwood might be happy with this scoreline late in this first term.
They could well be a few more goals in front. You're right. Port Adelaide have had a lot of the footy and a lot of shots at goal or potential for shots at goal that have just gone missing.
So no real damage done at the moment, trailing by 14 points as far as Collingwood's concerned. So another bounce down in the middle. We see Cockatoo Collins just having a breather. Such is the pace of the game these days. They rotate these players quite a lot off the bench. Burgoyne in the middle has had a fair bit of it. This time doesn't really get a kick away. Good tackle. Buckley working his way into this game now. He was responsible for the last goal on a lead. Good strong mark. Tarrant, talk about working your way into the game as well. A moment ago hadn't had a possession and now has had 3 in quick succession and 2 strong marks.
You just wonder whether if they get the ball down as quick as that, whether Montgomery's the man to go with him.
Certainly a height advantage for Tarrant. But Montgomery does have spring. He can leap. So Tarrant on the correct side for a left footer. Coming in from about 45. And he's dragged it to the right. No, he hasn't. Straight through the middle. Collingwood coming back. So the margin back to 8 points here at Football Park.
Well, he's very quickly become one of the best marks in the competition on the lead. Chris Tarrant. It was a magnificent kick from Buckley. I'm not sure anybody with added height would have stopped that one because it was so precise. He jumped and took it at its highest point. And all of a sudden the Pies have kicked the last 3.
26-18. So good effort here by Collingwood. 3 goals in a row after Port led by 26 points. Buckley again, he's having a big influence now. Kingsley to Paxman, who had Wilson free, but he went for the line, and a boundary throw in. So some good signs here for the match in general and for Collingwood in particular.
They've actually got kicked their 3 goals since Anthony Rocker went and stood beside Daryl Wakelin. Wakelin had just repelled so many of their early attacks. They got the ball inside 50, but it was just rebounding just as quickly. But since they've matched that one up, they've kicked some goals.
Stevens lost the footy. Centre wing out of side. Port Adelaide regain it with Francis. Bit of a dribbler of a kick. Still at centre wing. Handball from Mead to Burgoyne. Treadray on a lead nearly. Well, it was a good mark in the end. The umpires paid it. Not easy to do that at full pace.
Change being made with Tarrant too.
Long way from home. Chad Corns on the lead. Look at the kick. And Corns has taken the mark comfortably out in front of Wakelin. The skills of the Port Adelaide side have lifted in the last 12 months markedly. So Port Adelaide perhaps need a steadier here. Collingwood have kicked 3 in a row after Port Adelaide kicked the first 4. Corns after his second for the game. Starts to drift to the left, but I think he's kicked it. No, offline. So Port Adelaide go to 4-3. Collingwood 3 straight goals.
Paxman now on Chris Tarrant.
So Collingwood to come in. That's what's in front of Davis. Gets too easily out from Port's point of view. Well done to Rocker. Rocker has had some influence, as Gerard said, since he's been on the ground. They've got a wriggle on. Freeborn, Lucuria just ran out of space a bit to Johnson. Johnson wide. He's got a good lead there from O'Brien. Kingsley went to ground. O'Brien at the back. Treadray, you wouldn't expect to run him down. He gets the pressure on him. O'Brien down low. Goes to ground. No free kick. Kingsley's going to have to get it out. He does. Mead slaps it towards the line. Back there, Wilson. Still Wilson. And he pushes it over the line. Will he be pinged? No. Boundary throw in.
Well, they've got both O'Brien and Buckley now playing as forwards. Not sure whether O'Brien is just resting or whether they've pushed him up there to see if he can crumb a goal and just drag him out of the midfield and match Port Adelaide's players up in negative roles.
Primus, Malloy, O'Brien in close, gets it back. Steinford's kick was smothered, and again a boundary throw in. So Collingwood attacking hard here at 18-27.
Brilliant work from that man on screen, Nick Stevens, who Collingwood chased quite heavily. Made no secret of the fact they were after him, but he signed on for, I think, 3 more years with the Power. And what a player he's turning out to be. Franco clears from defence, but picks out the opposition ruckman in McKee. Another smother. They talk about the 1%ers in footy. We've seen 2 in a row from Port Adelaide. First Stevens and now Wilson. Desperation as McKee tried to kick Collingwood forward. Primus and Fraser, they just about shared it. Ball comes over the back. Burgoyne with speed, with pace. It's one of his strengths. And Neil, I was going to say terrific juggled mark, but Wanganeen swoops on it. The ball spilled. Wanganeen a chance. Bad bounce. B-grade bounce for the former skipper. And Port Adelaide go to 4-4. Collingwood 3 straight goals.
They've had a few B-grade bounces, to be honest, down there, haven't they? One hit the post from Primus. Another one hit the post from Corns, I think. They've just had a few chances go begging, and Collingwood certainly hanging in on the scoreboard, that is for sure. Lock is short to Loney in the back pocket, goes very short, had still half volleyed in the end. Freeborn okay, back to Loney. Lucuria's flat-footed, wasn't really a good choice, I don't think, in the end. Back to Freeborn, back to Lockyer. Lockyer, good leg, and very short finds Clement at half-back.
Interception.
Across the ground, danger. You might be right. Burgoyne can't quite get to Nick Davis. Davis forced to go towards the boundary line. Clement getting back. Keeps it in. Dew. First time I've really seen him involved in much at all. Boundary throw in. Gee, they were messy there, Collingwood, weren't they? They fiddled around a bit. They might get out of it all right. Cockatoo Collins just having his back worked on. Maybe a bit of sciatica, a bit of stiffness. Had a lot of hamstring problems. over the years, but fortunately for him and for the Power, this year he's been in all of the games and been a terrific contributor. Primus looking for a deliberate, and again a ball in. So nothing much happening late in this quarter. Port 10 points in front, deep in attack.
You're right, Bruce. After a great start, the sting really got out of this game just for the moment. Primus tried to find Dew, who still hasn't had a possession. Lockyer. Now they come through the middle. Davis it is. Long kick towards half forward. Kingsley has to get under it. He knew Tarrant was coming. And the former club champion does very well. To centre wing now, Chad Corns.
He's had a lot of it, Adam. Kingsley, he's at 9 possessions now, and he continues his good form.
Long kick from Corns towards half forward. Treadray.
Great
strong hands. They play it on. The ball spilled out as he came down. Clearing kick now. Comes from Tyson Lane to Nick Davis. They're loose at half forward. Collingwood O'Brien, who plays on, may not have been the right option. Forced to kick around the body in the end. Montgomery's there for Port Adelaide. Will have to get rid of it quickly. Stevens, they're under the pump, the Power. Back to Montgomery. Now a clearing kick, surely. Although they go sideways. Marking contest, an important one as well. Tarrant does well. And the quarter time siren beats the Pies as they threaten to go into attack again.
Have you seen it, Gerard? Port 10 points in front after they led by 26 at one stage.
Well, obviously Port Adelaide looked the more potent side, but it was a great comeback by Collingwood. They just restructured, pushing a couple of their more talented players into the forward line in Buckley and O'Brien. The magical. Looking forward to seeing Alan Didak also come back onto the ground. Get to have a run tonight. Saw him last week. He looked pretty impressive. Kicked a goal with his first kick in footy.
Second quarter about to start. I think everyone a little bit stunned here. They were rolling along the Power, and the Magpies have bitten back here just before quarter time. Saturday night football at Football Park in Adelaide. Big crowd. A lot of the build up here in Adelaide during the week, and so much excitement surrounding this clash between these two clubs who have been incredibly successful when you look at their records over 100 years and more in Port's case. There's the interchange for Collingwood. So first goal important here. Port haven't kicked one for a while. Collingwood could close it within a kick. Clement out of the centre and looks up and goes wide. Tarrant's going to be their man. He's turned Paxman this time. Not a bad kick from the boundary. Has he got it? I reckon he has. He's kicked the goal. He's got two. That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant football. So it looks like Paxman's gone on to Tarrant.
Yeah, he continues that role now. What he did, the blue he made, was that it was almost as if he forgot he was a left footer. He was running on his left-hand side, and by the time he turned around, he had completely wrong-footed Paxman. He had no opportunity. There he is, running up on his left-hand side. He should have been covering the right-hand side because that was the way he was going to turn inevitably. But a great passage of play there. Well, made so by that bloke there on screen.
So margin back to 4 points. And we saw that opening bounce then of this quarter that Collingwood, like no other side's been able to do, perhaps working Primus out at the centre bounces because he got that tap away as well, but Collingwood came away with it, as they do now. But the kick from Tyson Lane finds Stevens, who looks for Mead at centre wing. Darren Mead up forward tonight for Port Adelaide. Wilson off hands. Has to hurry in the end. Gets a handball to Corn. Pair sporting the shaved heads. Now Mead gets a touch on the half-forward flank. Goes to centre half forward with a high kick. Big pack of players. They crashed through. Rocker really knocked a few over like 9 pins. A couple of players aren't too well either. One of them's Wakeland. Daryl Wakeland is in a bit of pain on the ground as Buckley gets it away to Lockyer. Lockyer to O'Brien. Touches the ground. They're still forcing it forward, Collingwood. They've got the numbers now. Lacuria can have a bounce. Wakeland's on his feet behind play.
Lockyer, good running.
Yeah, great running, Lockyer. He was at half-back a moment ago. You would suggest about 5 seconds ago, in fact. He sprinted all the way, has come down with the footy, and he's been rewarded. He can now have a shot at goal.
Well, they've turned this into a midfield running race, Collingwood, and it's suiting them. They are prepared to run. They're prepared to run hard. They've proven that over the first 7 weeks of the season. And if the ball is turned over, as it was there on their half-back line, and they get control of it, they're going to quickly put pressure on the opposition's defence.
So Lockyer will kick from about 40 metres out. Good looking kick straight through the middle. Collingwood are in front. For the first time in this game, they lead by 2 points, and good kicking as well. 5 straight goals they are. Port Adelaide 4-4.
But great running, as you said, Chris, just to get down there from Lockyer. He is an athlete. He's actually had basically a neutral game on Francis on a wing. Fabian France, been a 0-0 draw, but he has got involved early in this quarter. And maybe Francis will need to watch his defensive work.
So Lockyer with a goal. Port's average winning margin in their last 5 matches has been 57 points. They're being really challenged here. They kicked 5 unanswered goals, Collingwood, from about halfway through that first quarter. They can't get a clear ball out of the centre now, Port. Collingwood doing very well. Stevens almost had it. You can see the expression on his face then.
And I think importantly, they've released Stevens from O'Brien. Wilson's now with him. As soon as the centre bounce was taken, O'Brien would run to that forward line, drag Stevens out of the play, which was hurting Port Adelaide, and Stevens has now been released back into the midfield.
Johnson comes on for the Magpies, and James getting ready for the power. Stevens gets it from Carr and then kicks wide to half forward. Wanganeen, good mark. That is a terrific mark against a good defender, a competitor in Lucuria.
But after a couple of handballs that got to Stevens, he is so accurate with his kicking, you just can't afford to have Stevens dragged into the back pocket as he was by O'Brien. It was good play by O'Brien and Collingwood, but they have worked that out to their betterment as Dew comes from the ground with Wakeland.
Wanganeen keeps it down low, coming back, kicks the goal. So Port get back in front. Double change, as Gerard said, with Ackland coming on the ground with James, and Dew and Wakeland coming off, and Wanganeen puts Port Adelaide back in front.
There it is, the left foot. It's dangerous, but mates much more so by that incredible mark. He had first and third bites of it, Wanganeen. Whether or not he had the second one is debatable. Useless debate because the goal's on the board.
The former captain in his new role this season as a forward. We saw it once last year here against Richmond. This season they've used him up forward quite regularly. He can go back if needed as well. Ackland into the ruck for Port Adelaide. High tackle.
And he gave him the don't argue. Big push to the face, and they've been pretty strict on that, umpires, this season.
So the ball with Fraser. Wakeland has gone straight down to the change room, so a problem for Port Adelaide after he started so well. The lead is on from Tarrant. Can't mark this time. Had a couple to beat. Lockyer, great vision. Saw the ball come down, but under pressure. The ball skewing off the side of the boot. Good work from Michael Wilson of Port Adelaide. Or dangerous kick in, though. Port Adelaide wasting no time. Lockyer nearly steals it back. Was trying to redeem himself, but in the end the ball out of play.
Guys, the doctor said the injury report, a bad corky, so whether he is able to come back and play is up to anyone's guess.
So that's Darryl Wakeland. Thanks, Bruce. Game stepped up a notch now, hasn't it? Both teams going goal for goal. Buckley centering ball, and a good one to Tarrant. Held the mark.
Good mark. There'll be a few better marks in the competition than this fellow at the moment, particularly when he's on the hard lead. Hasn't dragged down too many speckies in big packs, but that's not his role. He's rarely in those packs, but that took courage and he was up to the task.
Well, he's going for a third goal here. He kicked a spectacular goal at the start of this quarter. Gave Loney a good pass early in the game and he scored, so he's been so vital for them. We're right behind him. Looks a good kick. Collingwood back in front. This match is now building, isn't it? We've got a real game here. Tarrant's kicked 3 of the 6 and Collingwood lead by 2 points.
And I think importantly we give credit to the bloke who set up perhaps 4 of Collingwood's goals in. Was that Nathan Buckley again? It looked like it was, just pinpoint accuracy.
Yep, from the flank.
He dragged them back into this game with a couple of pieces of individual work in the first quarter where he set up some goals, and there again. Chris Tarrant will be hoping that Nathan Buckley plays for a long time at Collingwood.
Well, Buckley's had 8 touches, and you would suggest that pound for pound they've been very good touches as well. Most of them ending in goals. Ackland gets the tap away, but it's Leon Davis from the middle. Fresh player on the ground, finds O'Brien. Get the feeling the game's turning. And on the lead again is Tarrant. So a problem for Port Adelaide there. Paxman picking him up now. Montgomery was on him in the first term. And Tarrant so far is getting a fair bit of the footy.
Well, he's probably going to get it on anybody at this stage, given the way the ball has come down. He's been able to get the break. Wouldn't be surprised there was a change made, but
well, so early in this game, he has 4. Ooh. 4 goals to Chris Tarrant, and it's a real problem for Port Adelaide at the moment.
But is it fixed by changing his opponent, or is it fixed by the midfield starting to win some more footy? I suspect it's the latter. The ball has just come through that middle pretty easily, particularly after that last centre bounce. And Tarrant is just getting it fed on a plate, but his conversion, his kicking has been first class. Good player.
Tarrant's kicked 3 goals in 8 minutes at the start of this quarter, and Collingwood have kicked 7 of the last 8 goals in this match. They've got their biggest lead so far. Remember, Port led by 26 points early. Collingwood hadn't scored, and then Rocker came on the ground, and things have changed. Not that he's had much of it, but he was able to pick up Darryl Wakeland, who was running loose across half back. Buckley's got involved. Tarrant's taken over, and Mark Williams has got plenty to think about at 42-34. On a couple of Copelands with Collingwood. Captain. Little kick by Cockatoo Collins to Montgomery. He started on Tarrant, and Pesci Giacomo being shoved out of it by Treadray. And Nick Davis's good kick to Leon Davis at centre wing. Now going forward. Will be cut off. Tarrant on this big long lead. O'Bree's been really important as well. Goes back. Malloy we haven't seen a lot of. Good kick. Well, Steinford, no, I was going to say good kick, but James was able to pick him off. And Port are desperate to get something going here. Primus will sweep it, you'd reckon. He does. Just has to sit and wait now, Guerra. So Guerra at half-back. Kicks wide to Stevens. The chase is on. Clement with him. Stevens goes to ground. Burgoyne, look away handball, finds Burgoyne. He's pretty clever, Burgoyne. But Collingwood able to match them at the moment. And Port just look a little lazy on it, as Clement's kick is a bad one and out of bounds on the fall. So Port being challenged like we've rarely seen over the last 5 weeks here. Goes in short to Primus. Primus in short. Stevens picks it up off his bootstraps.
Yeah, I think Mark Williams will be just a bit concerned about look-away handballs.
Bit of lairising at the moment from a couple of the Port players. McKee takes an important mark at half-back, and they're away through Lucuria. The Magpies to centre wing. Fraser.
The level of running and the commitment to running from Collingwood is also leaving Port Adelaide well behind as well.
Davis went up high over Cockatoo Collins, gave O'Bree a chance at half forward. Good handball inboard, gives Davis another chance. He'll try and get onto his right. Now he has to go backwards. O'Bree got the ball on a string at the moment. The kick is loose to the forward line. Malloy will crash through. Does he ever? Brilliant play, Malloy. Loney a chance to try and thread it through. Gets it back, Loney. And his goal. Persistence pays off. What a hard-working goal from Collingwood.
I think you summed that up. Hard working, wasn't it? From down on the half-forward flank, where the ball, Nick Davis just evades the tackle of Nick Stevens, who's running hard. He's one of the few power players that is running hard. O'Bree just going to have to get that kicking a little bit more accurate, but it did go to space, and Malloy had some opportunities here to smother this ball, but winning 6 in a row is a pretty tough task. Keeping the brain organised and keeping the brain committed to doing the hard work that is the building blocks of a victory is really hard work. At the moment, it's the sort of work that isn't being done by Port Adelaide.
So 8 out of the last 9 goals. Burgoyne gets it from James. That's for Collingwood, 8 out of the last 9. Goes to Guerra, very wide. So Port forced out here. Francis tries to turn on Lockyer. He can't. Gee, they are quick, Collingwood, aren't they? Johnson to Davis. He's provided a bit of spark. Run to the line. Good tackle. Port are going to make a stand here. Guerra did a bit there. Boundary throw-in. Wasn't that long ago I was saying that Collingwood needed a goal. Don't forget the internet tonight, i7sport.com.au. I know that, Gerard, you'll be in the chat room, I think, tomorrow. We're certainly doing something on our website tomorrow afternoon. Burgoyne, about 60 metres out. Clever looking kick. Wanganeen front spot. Can't take the mark. No free kick. Swept away. Handball was pretty good. Gets to Johnson. Johnson's vision excellent. To Steinford. Collingwood so impressive here. The running is really cutting Port up. Clement Port are going to lift their intensity here to Rocker. We know how far he can kick a footy. Can Tarrant get to the front spot? Wilson's back there. Malloy to barge and crash his way through. Ball still to be won at centre half forward. Fraser sweeps it out. Collingwood have got the runners. Davis can't quite turn on his man. Loney's kick two. Lines him up. Tarrant got it. Got it in the pocket. Plays on. It's smothered by Cockatoo Collins. Back to Tarrant. Oh, wasted chance. Wanted to give it away. Still might get a goal. Davis from the pocket hooks it back as he just missed. Boy, oh boy, did they have a crack then. Collingwood. They are going well, aren't they?
They're on fire, and it's a real test now for Port Adelaide to see just how far their maturity
have a look
will
at Mickey.
bring them.
Sorry, have a look at Mickey Martin. Do you reckon he's enjoying this? He is pumped up, Mickey is.
Tell you what, he'd be due some fresh chewing gum. He has given that a huge working out in recent minutes.
Well, we said there was a real lull in proceedings. The end of the first quarter, it's lifted now. The kick is dangerous from Paxman. Goes to the outer side. Montgomery has to beat two, and sort of does, but does he really? Because the handball goes astray. Port Adelaide can clear it now through Lyle, who took it from Cockatoo Collins. The kick towards centre wing. A lot of these Port players haven't seen the ball for a while, and they're not going to now either because it's a Collingwood free.
Would not hurt to get Wanganeen up to the other end of the ground just to settle them down.
Good call. Prestigiacomo to half forward. Was it a little shove from Cockatoo Collins? Buckley over the top for Leon Davis. Coming out.
Numbers.
It comes to O'Brien. Shot at goal. Have they got another one? No, just offline.
Loose ball there. 4 Collingwood players to 1 Port Adelaide player. Everybody in Port Adelaide looking as if they're prepared to run forward, but the hallmark of their victories in recent weeks has been their want to run back. And one-way running is the building block of failure, not of success.
After 8 straight goals, Collingwood now 8-2, Port Adelaide 5-4.
Paxman, who's had a shaky night, kicks to half-back. He's not alone, though. Targets are not being hit so well tonight. Burgoyne just forced a kick to space. So really, we've seen that. Wanganeen running very hard. He's got some opposition, though. There are 4 Collingwood players closer to him than a Port Adelaide player. Boundary throw in.
Well, he showed great pace there, Wanganeen. In fact, there was a letter to the Herald Sun in this morning's paper suggesting Wanganeen is a quicker player than Andrew McLeod, which I found hard to believe.
He ran away from him, Jared, in a showdown last year. They had a foot race, and he ran away from him. And they both patted each other on the back after it.
Well, that solves that mystery.
Johnson. Carl Lewis got beaten once too.
I reckon,
kick to centre wing.
I reckon McLeod will be looking for a rematch.
Gee, Buckley gives a free kick. I reckon Carr's got up his goat a bit here. It's been a long time since Buckley pulled him around the neck in that first quarter, but he just didn't need to do that, the captain. He's made very few mistakes. He's been a great player tonight. Kingsley gets it from Carr, then sweeps a handball to Lyle. Mead runs for him. He didn't spot him. He goes inboard. Okay. Paxman. So Paxman 80 metres from goal. Wide kick. Malloy gets back. Can't take the mark. Loney misses it. The hook back from Corns to the point of the square. Bouncing. Well, didn't bounce. It went straight to Lockyer, who forced it over the line. 5-5 to 8-2.
Jared Didak on for his first run, lane off.
So Didak, thanks to Bruce, number 4. Port Adelaide Magpie last year, taken as number 1 for Collingwood in the draft. I'm enjoying this, Jared, and Chris, seeing Port challenge like they are tonight. We just have seen them dominate games so often this year. We're going to find out a lot about them in the next hour and a half, I reckon.
We certainly are. Lucuria at halfback goes over the top and finds Wakeland. Goes one way, then the other. Awkward kick around the body. Allows Kingsley to come through. Gets a handball to Guerra. Tight in the clinches. Finds Cockatoo Collins. Chance for Port to run now. Wanganeen chips one high in the air. Gives Montgomery a chance. Can he get it? Oh, strong mark.
Brilliant.
Got rid of Loney, and experience paid off perhaps. The club champion from last season has taken a mark well within kicking range. Started in defence on Tarrant and has now been set free up forward.
Fabian Francis looks to be coming from the ground. Has he got a hobble up? I'm not sure. We'll go down to the press shortly. But he has been absolutely taken out of the game with just 2 kicks and 2 handballs. Stuart Chu, who is also without a stat, he comes back on the ground for another crack.
Montgomery shot at goal. It's drifting right, I think, and it's offline. So a goal that perhaps Port Adelaide needed to kick.
So a couple of the early season stars for Port Adelaide have had absolutely no influence on this match, and they rotate one for the other off the bench.
5-6-8-2, so Port a bit inaccurate too. Corn's front spot, Rock a big mark at the back, and then on to Johnson. They're playing on so quickly here, Collingwood. The kick to Fraser. Little toe poke from me. Johnson, terrific play. Brilliantly done. And broke the tackle and then inboard to Fraser. Fraser's kick to the pocket. Pretty good. Buckley will use his big frame. Can't quite get the handball out the first one, but he does to Nick Davis, who kicks the goal. They're going to be hard to beat.
What a start.
Oh.
Buckley, you said the big frame. He has worked incredibly hard to make it a big frame. And it pays dividends in situations like this where he was behind, he worked his way to the front, held his ground, and still had the ability to just poke that pass out to handball out to Nick Davis.
I think he saw the first one to Tarrant too, decided not to go there with the left hand and found Davis. He's a good finisher.
Looks better in the forward line at the moment.
Well, the brute strength of Nathan Buckley. And he gave it to Josh Carr as well after he found out that handball.
Nick Davis,
9 out of the 10 last 10 goals to
Nick
Collingwood.
Davis is doing a lot of running. He's starting at the centre bounce about 40 metres out from Port Adelaide's goal, and he's just working his way through the midfield.
In the middle, chance with Port Adelaide. James pushed out of it. Primus goes again. Lockyer steals it. Streams out of the middle. High ball, one-on-one. Paxman Tarrant. Was it over the shoulder? Umpire says no. Ball at ground level. Collingwood, the pressure of their forwards, enormous. And Fraser, throw the ruckman in as well. Now a chance for the power. Ball ends up with Burgoyne, who took it from Carr. Nowhere to go for Port Adelaide. Braden Lyle sees it to the boundary line.
See what, Mark Williams wouldn't mind the siren sounding right now. This game, Collingwood could really put them away in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, if they could kick another 3 or 4 unanswered goals, it'd be incredibly tough. And it's amazing how many times in big upset victories the trip to Western Australia plays a part.
Kick from halfback, Roger James to half forward. Good work. Strong mark taken. Presta Giacomo. Handballs to Rocker, who's been so important since coming on. Starts at halfback, runs towards the middle. No one really home for Collingwood, and it allows Darren Mead to take the mark. Port Adelaide away immediately.
Carr, there's no easy kicks for Port though at the moment, are there? Cockatoo Collins, it was cute and clever, but they need to put something on the board. To Wilson on the burst. This is a more promising attack. It's quick. Wanganeen's at the back. He's really good in these situations. Can't quite find the footy. Takes a couple on. Gee, if they hold him up, then you know they're in trouble. Stevens, still with Stevens. To Corns, needs to finish here. Leans back, misses. He's kicked 1-3.
He's had some opportunities, but it is incredible, Bruce, when sides that from either Adelaide or anywhere else in Australia other than Western Australia travel the distance, they come back, whether it's a late night over there, excessive nocturnal activities, given that you're living in a different time zone. It is incredible how many times the following week there's an upset.
I asked Mark Williams about that. He said we were lucky. The match started half an hour earlier. We were able to catch a plane straight back. No excuses. So Collingwood, full credit to them at the moment. This game's not won yet. There's a long way to go. Wanganeen, Lucuria, Prestige Giacomo, who I reckon has done a great job on Treadray in this quarter. He's beaten him 3 times for marks, and he's really been a stumbling block back there. Played 25 seconds of footy over the last 2 weeks. He's had splinters on his bottom, I reckon.
Plenty of bench time.
Roger James got a quick handball away. Port Adelaide, this looks promising. Nick Stevens to the goal square. Montgomery will fly from behind. Loney stayed down and did the right thing. Someone needed to stay there. The ball came off hands. He has a couple of bounces, now a third.
Collingwood player down behind play.
It's Wakeland. Gee, he's seen his brother go off already. Now he's a little ginger. The battle of the twins tonight. Tarrant's got it at centre wing. Shane Wakeland looks okay, just rubbing the scone with the trainer.
Paxman's gone on to Malloy.
The ball will go that way now. The pair go one-on-one. Malloy tries to tap it over the back. In the end gets it to Buckley, who's claimed in the tackle by Ackland. Handball, loose handball towards the pocket. Guerra's the first there for Port Adelaide. He's tackled. They'll need to get rid of it. The ball's still free. Comes out now through Didak. Nick Stevens is there for Port Adelaide. Goes straight across goal towards Primus. Primus. And a player all on his lonesome. Centering on the outer side is Montgomery. Although he's probably at half-back.
Wilson's gone on to Tarrant. He often plays on players with a fair bit of height advantage over him. And a blood rule being executed.
Yeah. Shane Wakeland, we saw a moment ago, was in a bit of strife And you can see there's just a bit of blood on the nose, so nothing too serious. In fact, here's the incident now. The pack, Montgomery flew up over the top. Probably an elbow there, accidental elbow, right on the bridge of the nose.
Gee, Mum was looking forward to seeing her sons play tonight too, wasn't she?
That's right.
Interesting story about the identical twins. Shane has in fact joined one of the better golf clubs in Melbourne, but there has been a suspicion that Daryl's been seen there on frequent occasions as well.
Oh, do they know that?
Braden Lyle at centre half back. Kicks wide. Now Ackland on the ground. He's a promising kid, this one. Had 4 shots for goal in Perth last week. Kicks to half forward. Treadray's got to start taking a mark or two. He's not the only one that's got to get involved. Wilson gets it. Good handball wide. Wanganeen's been busy in the last 10 minutes. Kicked off for centre half forward. Corns had his name written all over it. It's a good mark. He's a real talent, this 21-year-old. And if there is one thing about his game I know that he'd love to improve in a hurry, it's his kicking for goal. That's putting the pressure on you, isn't it? 1 goal, 3, 40 metres out. Port have kicked 1 of the last 10 goals. They're 3.5 goals behind. Go back and see if you can dob it, son.
Guys, just a quick update on Fabian Francis. Just a little bit of general soreness, but he should be right. Biggest problem is he just can't get near the leather.
So Chad Corns, who's played pretty well, but he's kicked 1-3 and Port need it. They really need this from 40 metres out. He's kicked 1-4. Well, it's shades of what happened last year a couple of times in matches. When they've missed chances in front of goal. It was a terrific mark, but in the end it only counts for 1 point. And Port have had 13 scoring shots to 11, and yet they trail by 3 goals.
Buckley, designated kicker, and he's spot on. Finds Tarkin Lockyer. This has been a very impressive quarter from Collingwood. Kick to centre wing, Rocker. Full of admiration for the way he's played since coming on. His 3rd mark. The kick is good to Fraser. O'Brien is also lifted, and the lead is on from Tarrant. Great footy from Collingwood. Wanganeen's gone to defence, and Jared Healy called it earlier, and it's happened.
He may have Tarrant. I'm not sure if he's just on the mark because he was there at the point, but he's certainly standing the mark here.
Tarrant already with 4 goals, and then we see Daryl Wakeland, a suspected corky. Tarrant starts it right, tries to use the breeze to bring it back, and it just won't come back enough. Through for the minor score. Collingwood go to 9-3, leading Port Adelaide 5-8. We've played almost 26 minutes of this second quarter. Tarrant 7 marks and 4 goal 1 so far.
Well, Stuart Jew's going to get a kick here. Now, not being facetious, but he just can't find it, can he? He was on the interchange after quarter time. Short little one to Lyle at centre half back.
It's a good decision though to give him a kick from full back. Just getting 1 kick can sometimes break the nexus if you can't get near it and start you on the path.
And Port forced to go short here. Stevens to Cockatoo Collins to, well, I thought to Stevens, but to Lyle. But again, they put themselves under the pump. They get away with it. Stevens kick to centre half forward. Collingwood will cut it off with McKee. Well, Port hasn't played this badly this year. They've only been beaten by the Bombers once. They played a lot better footy than they're playing tonight. They haven't been allowed to play well. Freeborn to Brodie Holland. Haven't seen much of him. Tarrant will be the man. Cockatoo Collins front spot. Tarrant at the back. You reckon he'd eat this up? Hooks it back. Has he kicked it 5th? He has. He's kicked 4 goals in this quarter, Tarrant. Collingwood are monstering Port here. They've kicked 10 of the last 11 goals.
Well, it's an incredible performance. I think it's been long coming, this one, Bruce, with Collingwood. You showed the stats just prior to the start of the game where they've just hung in there in every match. They haven't been badly beaten in any of them. And I think if you just have that ability to keep persisting, you will find a side on a downer, and that's where Port are at the moment.
5 goals to the man on screen, Chris Tarrant. And with him is Wanganeen.
You can write 1 down against Wanganeen. He kicked a couple against his first opponent in Montgomery. 1 against Montgomery and 3 against Paxman. So he's just chopping them up as they come down.
Certainly is. The tap from Primus goes straight to Buckley. So Port Adelaide haven't sorted out their centre breaks at all tonight.
Been a good move, this one. O'Brien.
9 kicks, 5 handballs for O'Brien so far.
And importantly, he's getting many of them in the forward 50.
Paxman in defence for Port Adelaide switches it, and we'll find the captain in Primus. Hasn't had his usual influence yet tonight, Primus. Still a half to go, of course. James started on the bench, tries to find Treadray at half forward, and the ball beats him over the boundary line. You really take your hat off to Mick Malthouse. The homework he's done, as you'd expect, but so effective tonight on the Port Adelaide running brigade, who just haven't been allowed to get into this contest. Franco, Roger James at ground level for Port Adelaide. Clement was the tackler. Wilson forces it forward. Prestigiacomo's been effective at halfback. Finds Buckley with the soccer kick to Fraser. Cockatoo Collins goes up in front. Malloy was there for Collingwood, and he sees the ball over the boundary line. Centre wing out aside.
Guys, it's just an observation, but Matthew Primus never wears a long sleeve Guernsey, and there's some doubt about his shoulder, and he seems to be running with it slightly drooped, so maybe he's under a bit of an injury cloud.
Well, as Chris said, Bruce, he just hasn't had any influence, but he's not the only one. I mean, Collingwood is just beating Port in all areas of the game at the moment. All the one-on-ones, their tackling is fierce. They're so quick. They've played brilliantly here to get it to Holland, who is a sharpshooter. Goes for goal. Tarrant back there, almost. He is such a talent. He's Chris Talent, isn't he? T-A-L-E-N-T. Sometimes we call him Tarrant for short. Boy, can he play. He tried to tell Mark Robinson that he wasn't a star this morning in the paper. Robbo, if you're back there in Melbourne, oh, that was a good get. 10-4 to 5-8. Maybe not as good as Wally's article, but not bad. Well, 10-4 here. It's a stunning performance. Port has not been behind at half-time since round 2 against the Bombers, and they're going to be well behind here. They might be further, though. Malloy's handball just too far for Freeborn. Port are just hanging on the ropes here. Collingwood trying to deliver a knockout punch. Rocker taps back to Lockyer. Lockyer to Loney. Now he could goal here. We know what this young man can do. Look at this one going home. And it's through. Another one. Magnificent. I reckon every Collingwood fan back in Melbourne will collect this tape. Name a game. They'll get this quarter and they'll play it forever.
Yeah, well, this game, Bruce, may be...
it's over.
The game is over. That is a huge call.
I want to take it back immediately.
Okay, that is a big call. But, geez, all the evidence suggests that there's only one side prepared to run here. They're heavy-legged Port. They're only prepared to work in the comfort zone in their vicinity. They're not doing the unselfish running to get over and get to the contest.
Gee, Jared, it's a 10... So it's the best quarter, second term against Port this year by a long way, but they're going to break all the records the way they're going, Collingwood.
Ruckman just about share it, but Buckley got it again. Went to Lockyer, who was instrumental in the previous goal. It ends up with Roger James of Port Adelaide getting touches. And the kick forward. Ackland happy just to let it sail over, and McKee took the mark. Handballs to the running Clement, who's done a couple of good jobs already tonight. No one to kick to. Happy to try and find the boundary line, but he doesn't. It pulls up short. Cockatoo Collins can go back inboard and finds Brent Guerra, the young man who came in under a cloud tonight. Well, no real signs of that cork thigh. Kicks it high to the front of the goal square. Corns will be the flyer. Got his hands on it. Has he marked it? No, the umpire's called him to play on. Fair enough too. There were a few in line. Jew's got the footy. Still can't get an effective touch. He's being held. Well held all night here. Corns gets it out to Cockatoo Collins. And Port Adelaide unable, through frustration as well, to kick a goal in the dying seconds.
And I thought that was significant there. We just saw Stewie Jew trying to just barge his way through, step around a half a dozen Collingwood players. They've all tried it. They've all tried to play the classic champagne footy here tonight, Port Adelaide. But it's they haven't been able to cork the bottle because Collingwood have just put the clamp on them, put the dampener on them, and their willingness to run for each other and shepherd and smother and tackle and run in the numbers has given Port Adelaide, who are one of the form sides of the competition, an absolute lesson here at their home ground. But Bruce, I reckon you're going to have a nervous half. You are going to have a very nervous third quarter anyway.
It's a 10-goal turnaround, basically. From 26 points in front, they trail by 32, Port. And that was a 7-goal quarter for Collingwood in terms of what they got on Port. They kicked 8 goals to 1. It's 11-4 to 5-8 at half-time.
Been known for their third quarter performance, but Collingwood certainly are playing some classy football. Chris Tarrant obviously come here to play. It's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to this next half.
You're not alone, Bruce. We all concur. 11-4 to 5-8. So Port have got to make a quick stand. You'd reckon they need the first goal. Carr kicks to centre half forward. In the back, Collingwood.
Well, Matthew Primus is showing a little bit more energy than he did in the first half. It'll be easy to show the energy in the first 5 minutes. Whether or not you can sustain it, whether or not it's deep in your gut is another matter.
So Shane Wakeland back in. Nick Davis has kicked to him. O'Brien, terrific opening half where he had 15 possessions, 10 kicks and 5 handballs. There's the Collingwood bench. We see Didak and Lane, Tyson Lane, along with Leon Davis and Rupert Bathiris, who I don't think has had a run. McKee comes off for Lane, so probably the matchup just not right there. So a tall off for a medium. Primus lays it down to Carr. Lane's going to get involved immediately if the bounce will sit. It does. James and Corns trying to put some pressure on. Lockyer's run was one of the problems, one of the real problems that Port had in the second term. Fraser hasn't had a whole lot of possessions, but he has looked very good when he's got the ball. He has been an avenue of attack. Not such a good option, that one.
No, he did that last week, Bruce, and was very costly against the Kangaroos. Chip passed in, it was intercepted, and it was the start of the avalanche.
The Powers bench guys of Wakeland, Schofield, Ackland and Guerrero.
Schofield hasn't been used much, has he? So Carr from half back.
High kick, centre wing. Wakeland made front position, did well, but it ended up with James to Franco, who after a blistering start has really fallen out of it a bit. Wanganeen's clever at half forward, doubles back. It's an open goal mouth. Port Adelaide have the first. Well, Wanganeen got shifted into defence in the second term, now back into attack, and it's paid off.
This will be a big challenge now for both sides. Port Adelaide, of course, have done it pretty easy for most of their games this season. They've shown they've had the ability to kick multiple goals in a hurry, so they can still win this match without any question. But a big challenge also for Collingwood. They can set their season up here with a victory. A loss would be devastating.
Wanganeen, who kicked the only goal for Port in the second quarter and gets their first goal here. Yes, the stakes are very high here tonight, but you feel for Collingwood they're higher, don't you? I mean, it's their season almost, Jared, if they win this, isn't it? I mean,
a loss would be devastating.
Franco, only as far as Clement. So Port will try and hassle them here. Over the years, the Kangaroos, when they've been a really good team, have been able to quicken things up and make it a frenzied game when they've needed to get back on top. Can Port do that here? Francis, so many players. I mean, you mentioned Franco a moment ago, Chris, who we didn't see in the second quarter. Francis, another one. Prestige Jacomo's done a good job on Treadray, who's looked a bit static in that second quarter. Nick Stevens, I think it was touched off the boot by Buckley, who does it all, doesn't he? Boundary throw in. Port trailed by 22 points in round one against Brisbane, kicked 10 goals in the third quarter to go on and win by a kick.
Laying off for Bathiris.
Well, they've got half a dozen players, Bruce, today that just tonight that have not had an impact. Basically haven't got near the footy. Some of them have been their very best players for the season. In Francis, Schofield also hasn't been near it. So there's a big upside. Lots of energy still to be expended by Port.
Carr tried to have a shot at goal, but Collingwood clear it through Johnson, who's been a very good player. To Wakeland now. Awkward kick for Loney to trap, but he does it well. Still fighting for it. In the end, he's tackled. He had 3 to beat, which is a tall order at any time. Port will have to hurry. Quick handball came from Wilson. Tackle applied on Corns, who throws it onto the boot eventually. Off hands. It's an awkward ball still. And a free kick has been paid. And it will go to James, who gets it to Francis. Cockatoo Collins out wide. The lead is on. Wanganeen. So the move has definitely paid off.
First time tonight you've called a Collingwood player had 3 to boot. Significant change on what was happening in the first half. And I suspect, Bruce, that the next goal for Collingwood will be their most important of the night.
So Wanganeen has 2 goals won. Distance won't be a problem, but it's an awkward angle. And the crowd like it. It's through. He's got 3 goals won. Port have the first 2. Clawing their way back in. They go to 7-8 Port Adelaide. Trailing Collingwood 11-4.
One-way traffic so far. No need to panic if you're a Collingwood player, but you'd be very keen to get the next goal on the board just to just to make sure that you don't allow them to kick 4 or 5 in a row, and then all of a sudden the belief comes back, the confidence rebuilds, the crowd gets vocal, and all of a sudden you've got an avalanche to deal with.
He's still their champ, isn't he, Wanganeen? He really is. 3 goals tonight. Port have had some big third quarters this year. They kicked 8 down at Geelong. They kicked 10 here against Brisbane. They've got back within some sort of reach, and the momentum is with them. And Gerard, you've been responsible for some famous calls here at this ground. The North Melbourne one your best, and I reckon you're right. Collingwood's next goal will be very significant in the context of this match, when they get it and how they get it. As Treadray goes forward, Cockatoo Collins at the back, goes down. Stevens is it, or Corns, I think, and Waitland over the top. It'll be a ball up about 35 metres from goal.
Bruce, I guarantee this has started with Primus. I mentioned in the second term that his setup in the middle wasn't working. Now it is in this term.
He's a bit stiff, Corns.
Yeah, the crowd just saw it on the big screen. He was clearly taken high.
Well, Chris, I'm not going to argue with you. You're the #1 Port Adelaide watcher in Adelaide. You would know.
What do you mean by the setup wasn't right?
I'll get back to it shortly.
Primus lays it down. Buckley, you'd expect him to impose himself here, or at least try to.
Knock it out.
Ball up.
Gerard, for about 5 weeks in a row, Primus has tapped the footy, and either Stevens or Franco has taken off and the ball's lobbed in their lap, unopposed. Tonight, it hasn't happened at all. Collingwood have manned up on those players. However, the first 3 takeaways from the middle in this term, Franco has taken the ball from a Primus tap.
Directly.
Almost.
7-8 to 11-4.
Very generous.
Primus lays it down. Johnson held on to. Ball comes out, loose. Gee, there's a real battle going on now. Franco emerges, ball up.
Guys, I asked the doctor about Primus's shoulder. He said it's okay, but there was certainly a wry smile on his face.
So, might be a bit of a problem there, Bruce, but he's a big man with a big heart. Free kick, I think, against him. So Jew was within range. Oh, he's unhappy, the captain, and Fraser to take it at centre-half back.
Not sure what the free kick was for.
Primus wasn't sure either. By his reaction, the kick goes towards O'Brien. Lyle was with him. Lyle fought hard for it.
Got the handball away most importantly, though.
And a free kick going Port Adelaide's way. Wanganeen's having a bit of a quarter here in this third term so far. He's a long way out this time. He's going to chip one over the top. Finds Kingsley, who was so effective in the first term in defence. He'll kick it towards centre-half forward. Chad Corns will fly from the back. Montgomery there also for Port Adelaide. Comes to the front of the pack. And was that a high tackle? It was. They've paid the advantage. Collingwood through Clement. Former Docker has been good tonight. Kicks towards centre wing. Gives Malloy the chance. With him is Mead. This will be a good matchup if these two start each other. Malloy does well. Gains about 30 metres. And he may have been a bit unlucky as well. Just hanging on a touch was Darren Mead.
Let's take a look at the issue of Matthew Primus's free kick. That's what it's for. He's got hold of the jumper. So good decision by the umpire.
So throwing about 70 metres around the boundary from the Collingwood goal. Kicking towards the southern end of Footy Park in this third term. Primus to Wilson to the middle. Fortunate kick ends up with Cockatoo Collins, who didn't mark. Now to Lyle, who's starting to get busy. To Francis in the middle. Normally a long running kick of the footy. This time he goes in between and finds Chad Corns.
Cockatoo Collins, good running. He'll get to the...
Treadray can tap it down for him. Cockatoo Collins, goal. What a goal.
Well, he may have been Cockatoo Collins in the first half, but I think it's back to Cockatoo Collins, Bruce.
It's a great call, Chris. Well, 3 goals in, well, it's been 8 or 9 minutes, but there's been so much purpose about their footy, Port.
Yeah, they've come alive. All he had to do there was make the contest, because Cockatoo Collins, he did the hard running of about 30 metres, got to the foot of the ball. If it was going to be free, he was going to be there because he was unattended. Now let's have a look at this Primus setup. You'd be all eyes on Franco if you're a Collingwood player.
Primus tries to build it forward, can't, but Port almost, then Buckley over the top. Fraser's tackle on Franco was good. Ball up. 15 of the 19 goals have been kicked left of screen. Not for a moment am I suggesting that there is a scoring end.
But surprisingly, Bruce, I mean, the flags are limp here, aren't they?
Yeah, there is and Buckley won the toss and kicked to the right of screen, but it's just the way the game's been played, isn't it? Port now getting a run on, a real run on, and Collingwood need a goal. Primus, hands and knees, back to Franco, goes back to Dew, only second kick, gets to Stevens, just held up.
Got 3 spare players.
Goes to full forward, Wanganeen. Oh, well played, Batheris. It's hardly been on the ground, and he got back and filled the hole courageously. The kick to Clement, a good one, and then Clement round the body. Now Collingwood, talk about spare players, they're on here. Davis can really run here and expose Port Adelaide. He's slow to go. Now goes to Tarrant.
Oh, free kick to Paxman.
Should have been. Umpire was right there, not paid. Comes back to Dew, down the line, handball, boundary throw in.
Well, we saw Port Adelaide's 3 spare players on their half-forward flank on the outer side, and the turnover was so costly because it invariably meant there were going to be spare players on this side of the ground or through the midfield for Collingwood, and both sides lost an opportunity for a shot at goal.
Throw in just inside the 50 for Collingwood. It ends up with Buckley. Kicks it to the front of the goal square. Paxman went the double fister. Dangerous. Holland picks it up. Opportunist goal. Terrific snap around the body. Collingwood needed a steadier, and they got it. And once again, dare we say it was Buckley that kicked it forward.
Look, I thought they were incredibly lucky. Have a look at here. Now that's holding the man. You cannot believe that he's played it at one end of the ground and not at the other. But this also was just a couple of fumbles here, but Collingwood were good enough to mop up. And a most important goal, particularly if it's followed by another one.
Back to 20 points. Stevens and Kingsley just couldn't quite get hold of the footy, and Holland swooped. Such a big goal for Collingwood. They've been able to put the brakes on for the moment. Now who'll get the next one? Franco held up, no free kick, and then Buckley bangs it out of the centre to centre half forward. Dew caught underneath. Nick Davis clever at the back. Meads handball, just cut off by Aubrey, and then Aubrey goes to full forward. Tarrant at the back, defended very well, puts a terrific tackle on Collingwood. Davis strolls in, mark it down to him and give Tarrant half of it. No, he's at the post. Has he? Gee. Well, give Tarrant nothing and give Davis a black mark. Sorry about all that. What a miss. What a miss. So Dew to bang it in. Tarrant's just too good for everybody in the one-on-ones at the moment, isn't he?
Well, his work there was just exceptional, wasn't it? Primus took a good mark in the middle, had to work for it, got it to Lyle, in turn to Francis. A real quiet game by his standards, but you can't be too severe. They've been so good for so many weeks, some of these players. Kick forward, shocker from Wilson. In fact, it was Chad Corns. They've both had the crew cuts this week. So Wakeland, half-back to the outer side. Corns a chance again. Has he marked it? And it goes the way of Clement. There were 20,000 Port Adelaide fans on that outer wing. Not that happy, but I think the decision went the right way. Running is Batheris. Almost at half forward. Plays it on straight away with the handball to Freeborn. Freeborn to O'Brien, who's just about got it on a string tonight. Good centering kick. Clever centering kick. And he's found Lucuria, who have seen across half-back for most of the evening. Just a replay of that mark on the outer side. Well, maybe Corns has got an argument there. How did you see that, Jared?
Well, he certainly had first grab. He was in front.
So maybe he has...
Ball decision had to go his way.
Maybe he has got a case then. So Lucuria, 25 out, makes no mistake. 2 in a row for Collingwood.
Well, that should be enough for Collingwood. They've returned the fire and they've kicked a couple in a row. That should be enough. Now, whether or not it is, we're going to have to wait until the end of the match. But a good side coming through with the hunger that this side should have. They should be able to take this lead now and turn it into a pretty handsome victory. Lots of footy to go, but the obvious resurgence, the inevitable resurgence, has now been equalised almost.
So for all Port's work early, it's just 5 points have taken out of that lead. So Collingwood have had a great 5 minutes with those 2 goals. Holland and then Lucuria. Primus wins the tap. Carr. Collingwood so effective here. They've been able to hold Port up. So now Port have to dig again, and as you said, Jude, you can come out for 5 minutes and show a whole lot. It's whether you can still keep going when you've been challenged again as Port are now. Collingwood have put themselves back into a very strong position. What should be a winning position, but there is a lot of footy to be played here. O'Brien has been outstanding. Hip and shoulder by Malloy. Gee, doesn't take prisoners, does he? Then Johnson, good tackle. Montgomery involved, ball up. So they've settled on Paxman for Tarrant Port. Gee, Carr, that didn't really hurt Carr. You can see him rolling in agony. He's still in a bit of pain. Primus and Rocker. Rocker's been good. Primus wins the tap. Franco and Stevens are going to have a huge second half. They're good enough. Treadray just got caught off balance. And after a good start by Treadray, kicked 2 of the first 3 goals of the match. He's been well held by Prestige Giacomo. So Primus and Rocker again. Half forward left, Port attacking. And who gets the free kick? That's against Primus. And goes to Rocker for holding on. It's frustrating, isn't it?
So Collingwood with Davis at halfback. Stops, props. Now decides to go. Big Shepherd laid off the ball as Carr went to ground, courtesy of Rocker. High kick to centre wing out of side. The leap was from Malloy. Crashed the pack. Port Adelaide try to push it forward. Davis is there again. And the kick doesn't find the boundary line. Good smother though. Treadray will go at it again. Davis working extremely hard for the Pies. Now Cockatoo Collins to Corns. Port Adelaide a chance to go forward. No one in the goal square. And the kick is offline from Chad Corns. He hasn't had an accurate night. That's 1 goal 5 now from Chad Corns. He's hit the post a couple of times.
And the captain threw his arms in the air. He said, what about me? Sitting at the top of the goal square.
Bruce, you remember that game earlier here in the season where Primus had, some 8 free kicks against him in the first quarter. He was very frustrated that day, wasn't he?
Geez, they got some good players breaking wide here.
Showdown, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Steinford should pick this up.
Almost. It was a good attempt here in the showdown. He went over and spoke to the umpires at quarter time, but Treadray back to Dew. Well, he's almost within range. Comes across the ground, finds Kingsley, who's outside his range. Need a goal here. Franco works for him. Well, this would test him. He's at 50. They just haven't been able to get the right shot here. Dew didn't fancy his chances. Gave it off. Now he goes to the pocket to Stevens. Got him. He's a great kick, Stevens. You would back him to kick this, I reckon, 7 to 8 times out of 10. Not an easy kick, but he's such a skilled player. Carr is coming off. The Malloy hip and shoulder really has knocked a lot out of him. And Schofield on. Stevens just stalks around, improves the angle. I think he's got it. It's a goal. It's a terrific kick. They're not dead in the water. They're not dead in the water. They're hanging in 9-9 to 13-5.
For the very first moment we saw Nick Stevens burst onto the scene, we knew he was going to be a good player, but I think he's exceeded expectations at this early stage in his career. He's been a very, very good pickup for Port Adelaide, and they'd be thrilled that he has re-signed with them. Put Nick Stevens in the Collingwood side, they'd have a fair midfield.
$18 touches for Nick Stevens, 15 kicks, 3 handballs. He's taken 6 marks as well, and that was his second goal. Fraser and Primus. Primus tries to find Franco, does. Franco shows some dash. Looks for Treadray at half forward. Treadray, good mark. Strong mark, wants to play on and does. No, umpire's called him back. A touch fortunate because he ran into a bit of trouble, really.
I don't think he heard the calls that the mark paid, to be honest.
Good strong mark. Ton of pressure from Prestige Giacomo, who's done a fine job since going on to Treadray as well, it's fair to say.
Blood rule, is it, against Treadray?
So he can't take the kick. He's had that bandage since about quarter time around his face, covering his nose. The umpire saying go straight off at the boundary line where you are.
Gee, should be a rule in the Port team that anyone who's got any blood on them within 50 metres that Stuart Dew stands alongside of him.
Yeah, that's right.
Could he get this Wanganeen? I mean, his heart's big enough to kick it. I'm not sure if he's capable of kicking it, though.
He kicks those low trajectory punts, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's good enough to kick this one.
Well, he's got 3 goals, 1.
He rises for the occasion. He's done so many times in his career.
He sure does.
We've got the money on you, Gavin.
On his way in, right on the 50. In fact, just inside the 50-metre line. It'll drift, or will it? And it has. It's drifted across the face of goal, minor score. When Port Adelaide need goals, they go to 9-10, 63-64, trailing Collingwood, 13-5, 83.
Buckley, he's had a very good match. He hasn't had a whole heap of possessions, but they have counted. Primus did very well. Patheris held up. Excellent play by Primus, but off the ground by Leon Davis, and a boundary throw-in. So Collingwood able to bang it forward here between centre wing and half forward. So they're the inside 50s. Reflective of the scoreboard too, Jared, in each of the quarters.
Yeah, they've done particularly well so far, Port, but I think that every time Collingwood's gone forward this quarter, they've kicked a goal.
Holland, who's kicked one of them.
Oh, there's a throw.
Buckley taps back to O'Brien. O'Brien to Davis with some leg speed. He's got Clement very short if he wants him. It's a good kick. Tarrant may go. Paxman all over the top. Ball still to be won. Cockatoo Collins with some pace gets back. He's covered a bit of ground. Handball finally gets to Paxman, to Montgomery. A bit of poise about that, but not a good kick. And Lockyer able to cut it off. Lockyer comes in board. O'Brien continuing to notch up possessions. This is number 19. Goes wide and long. Malloy the target. Ball comes to Steinfort at the back. Still with Steinfort to Patheris. Patheris pokes it to the pocket. Port with a chance. It was at the back. Montgomery. It was too slow, too high for Freeborn. Boundary throw-in.
A couple of metres around from the behind post for Collingwood. And they have looked dangerous in these situations. Rocker for Collingwood ends up with Malloy, who's tackled straight away. Braden Lyle, one of the tacklers. Likewise Wilson. Two of the real fierce tacklers in this Port Adelaide side.
They'd want to kick another couple, I think, Collingwood. Just 19 points up at the moment. They have expended a lot of energy getting to this position. They ran so hard in the first half, and they're continuing to do it now, that they won't want to be in a position where they're just holding on to a 10-point lead or so in the last.
Primus wanted the boundary line. Malloy was in the way. Had a quick snap at goal and offline. So Collingwood 13-6-84. Lead by 20 points. It's consistently been the margin tonight. Port Adelaide 9-10-64. Stuart Dew is the designated kicker. He's going to kick to himself. Doesn't really gain any advantage at the moment. Now he does. Now he can run. In the end, just chips one over the top. Not a good kick. Not a good kick at all. Allows Davis to come through. He's tackled, but able to get rid of the ball to a teammate. The kick now comes across for Steinfort. Takes forever to pick it up. Gets it to Buckley. Buckley around the body. And minor score. Let off for Stuart Dew, who really isn't having one of his best nights, is he?
No, he would have been absolutely wrapped that that ball didn't sail through post high. And Buckley was just one step away from getting enough balance to do it. Good pressure in the end by Port Adelaide. One suspects he'll go long this time.
And he does. To Primus. Takes a big fly. Rocker able to get up high. Lockyer held up in the tackle. The Theoris good tackle by James. They've got him. Ball up.
Gerard, I know you have to mix things up a little bit, but you get the feeling if you can kick like Stuart Dew, wouldn't you try and lob it in the middle most times?
Yeah, I think most times is probably right, but as you said, you mix it up. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what he did there before. It's just poor execution.
Yep.
And symptomatic of his night.
Primus and Fraser. Primus just gets the tap. Buckley, as he's done a lot tonight, just pushing forward. Malloy, his physical presence has been important. Remember, Josh Carr off the ground. Franco just got through his legs. Schofield, who's had not a lot of on-field time tonight, ball up. So in a bit of a holding pattern this match, isn't it? Collingwood, tremendous second quarter after Port got away early. And then Port coming back here, then Collingwood responding, and now we're stuck on about 3 and a bit goals. At a crucial time in the match, deep into the third quarter, Mead almost as good as a kick. Corns front spot. Davis to try and get back with Wakeland. Corns just wins it, gets it out. James on the up. Franco went to ground. Desperate stuff. Steinfort over the top to Lockyer. That's a big win for Collingwood. And Buckley in the front spot, too strong. And Buckley quickly to Holland, and Holland, where's Tarrant? He won't get to him. Oh, Paxman's hands didn't quite take it. Tried to. Primus is in trouble now. Malloy, Primus to get back. Tarrant involved. Primus, it goes to ground. Ball up. Well, it was a great win by Collingwood at centre half back, and then it was a good stop by Port Adelaide in the end.
He's just got to be careful. Nick Davis has been lurking by himself some 30 metres out from goal. He's not going to the ball. He is just staying back, hoping that Collingwood will win the footy. Inevitably, they will do it once.
Rocket takes it out of the air to Holland. Was clever. Holland's kick just really way off the mark. And, well, easy to say, but he may have wanted to do a bit better with that. Had no defenders running at him to speak of. The ball sailing out of bounds by a long way. Schofield brings it in, just gets the kick away in time, and perhaps the pressure in the end telling. Malloy's taken the mark. Primus comes in heavy-handed late. Now Malloy called to play on. Has to go back the other way, and he's caught. James does well. Brilliant play, Roger James. Desperation. The crowd will be on their feet for that one. Members side of Footy Park. And a couple of Port players just have a chat to Jared Malloy as we see the work of Roger James hassling, harassing, and in the end forcing the error. Treadray back on for Port Adelaide after the blood rule took him off. Tapped down to the front, went to Schofield. Treadray runs immediately into the action, but Prestigiacomo was there first. Buckley's made front position. Oh, strength again. Did he get it? No. Play on at centre half forward, Clement. It's been a hard worker. It ends up with Burgoyne of Port Adelaide. Dew trying to force it through. Can't. At ground level, handball came out. Found Wilson of Port Adelaide. Now Clement regains it for Collingwood at centre half forward. Handball to Freeborn, in turn to O'Brien. Surely a goal coming up, and it is. They are persistent, Collingwood.
Yeah, they're persistent in their tackling and their rushing and their running. They've got so many good runners now. I think Prestigiacomo, we should pay tribute to him. Excuse me, because he was the one that won that possession back. And he has, that's a great, just a great win. It got the ball going their way. I know it was intercepted, but just they're continuing to burrow forward. And I think Prestigiacomo has been given an opportunity to make a point to Mick Moldhouse, and he's doing it pretty well.
Great team goal by Collingwood there. O'Brien has had a fantastic match on the end of it. And Collingwood with the answers at 14-7 to 9-10. Franco couldn't get loose. They've backed them up so well, Collingwood in the centre square. Buckley, so often as he was there, quickly onto it. And again, Franco trying to get clear, and he can't. And O'Brien kicks the centre half forward. Malloy front spot. Montgomery fighting out of his weight division there. A very bad handball by Port Adelaide to cough it up. Buckley, back in a bit of a chance here with some team play. Malloy, well done. To Davis, not 10. And then Davis hooks back, hoping for full forward. Tarrant back there. We haven't seen his genius in this quarter yet. And a boundary throw. And Paxman's hurt himself, I think.
Shoulder.
He's in trouble, Paxman. Picking himself up now. There he is. Just trying to get some movement going. Well, Port cannot concede a goal here. It's about 3 minutes remaining in this quarter, a little bit less. And as we said all night, Collingwood have been really dangerous in these setups tonight. Here's how Paxman hurt himself with Tarrant. He's felt it there, hasn't he? He's strong, Tarrant. Upper body very powerful. Only going to get more powerful. So 20 metres from goal.
Mead will fly again, try to fist it to the boundary line. Stevens couldn't take it cleanly. Clement gets rid of Dew. Doubles back onto it, has a shot at goal. Would have been a miraculous effort from there. And it's just squeezed in for the minor score. So inside 2 minutes remaining in this third term. And Collingwood still in control at 14-8. Port Adelaide 9-10. The margin 28 points. And as we wait for the ball to be retrieved, it's on its way back in now. Stuart Dew once again to be the designated kicker for Port Adelaide. He's going to go long. High towards the outer side. Fraser in the middle of that pack. Burgoyne a chance, was held. Play it on to Roger James. To Carr. Carr's kick looking wide, and in fact it's gone out on the full, so Collingwood can go straight back into defence, into attack I should say. Kick from Steinfort. finds Rocker, such an important player. Started on the bench and has really been a big help to Collingwood here tonight. Physical, has taken marks as well.
No player forward of centre for Port Adelaide.
Very crowded. Port Adelaide try to cram this forward line of Collingwood in the dying. What a kick. What a kick from the middle of Football Park. Just falls short. Off hands. Was it touched? It was. What a goal that would have been had the fingernail not touched the ball. Through for the minor score from Anthony Rocker. He really launches this one. And it just about goes all the way. Collingwood 14-9-93. Port Adelaide 9-10-64.
Haven't quite put Port away, have they, Collingwood? Almost. They've had the last 5 minutes all to themselves.
But what will be in the back of their mind, Bruce, is that they did get out to about a 24-point lead early in the match last week late in the match last week against the Kangaroos, and they just frittered that one away. And I know that can be unnerving, but can also be inspirational and make you just go that bit harder to put them away.
Batheris to O'Brien. O'Brien in the pocket, and Hughes got hold of it. Didn't call that match. I think it might have been 15 points, Stuart, in the last quarter they led. You might be right, but they certainly had a good lead. But they're sitting on a 5-goal lead here, yet they've had so much play in the last 6-7 minutes to have maybe put the game beyond doubt. Dew gets it back. Very little time remaining in this quarter for a goal either way. Ball in dispute at centre wing. Malloy's worked so hard in this term. Seemed to get one in the back, and he has. Oh. He's a bit of an actor, old Jared. Oh, he's not that old, Jared, is he? He's a bit of a ham.
But he was smart there because he knew there was a collision coming, and he just got there first and turned his back.
He hams it up again. Now Rocker's within range. If the siren went now, which it's about to, he could go all the way here. Well, could this be a defining moment in the match? Remember, he missed the one last week. He kicked one maybe a little bit closer against Carlton. He's a long way out, but he is 10 metres closer than he was a moment ago. He's not without a chance. 14-9 to 9-10.
This is a 75-metre kick.
And the problem is that they either go 75 or about 45 sideways.
He's going the torpedo.
Oh.
Hasn't got it this time, and it's fallen about 15 metres short. Good quarter for Collingwood. Port kicked the first 3 goals, and Collingwood got 3 of the next 4. And they've got a handy lead here.
And Mark Williams, I think, would know that he is facing defeat for the first time in 5 weeks. They were looking for 6 in a row. But full tribute to Collingwood. They were always going to come out, Port. They did that. They withstood it. And they take a handy lead into 3/4 time. Remaining. It just stumbled into their game last week, and it brought them unstuck. They'll be looking to go for the kill in the first 5 minutes. If they can kick a couple of goals early, the game's over.
Start of the final term here, the big Saturday night game in Adelaide. Collingwood defying the odds here and lead Port by 5 goals at 3/4 time. Buckley's kick to Holland. Collingwood going forward, and then Holland to Tarrant. Here's a chance. Got it. Well, we saw so much of this in the first half, didn't we? Open forward line, Tarrant on a lead, and he's such a purposeful footballer and a great kick.
I mean, that's the issue. If you're going to be a great forward, you've got to be a great kick and make these 45-metre shots at goal count.
Tarrant from 45 metres, floating away, and he might have just missed. He's had one more shot for goal than Chad Corns tonight. Chad's kicked 1-5 and Tarrant's kicked 5-2.
Guys, the interchange for Collingwood: Didak, McKee, Johnson and Lane.
So Francis to bring it in. James in the back pocket. Port have got to take chances, don't they? They've got to play with that free spirit and free-flowing footy we've seen so much of this season. Kicks it almost to centre wing, but Mead completely outnumbered. And Rocker does really well. Freeborn at
Over
50.
the back for Leon.
Well, look at him, he has. Leon Davis all on his own. And kicks the first goal. Gee, it's a long way back now, isn't it? It was a long way back. Now it seems an insurmountable margin of 6 goals.
It's a matter of how far, I think, Bruce. Now you would imagine that Collingwood, the result is already defined. It's a matter of how far and how many shots at goal they can muster. And well, when you've been on a few beltings like Collingwood have been in recent times against Port Adelaide, you'd be pretty happy to square the ledger.
Collingwood by 36 points. The first of this final term. Primus got the better of the ruck tap again. Working hard. It's all Collingwood at the bottom of the pack. Primus just gets his head pushed into the turf, as we saw there, for good measure. As Steinfort picks himself up, he was in there fighting hard. So back to where we started, right by the centre circle. Chance for Franco, dragged off it. Fraser did well, the ruckman for Collingwood. And third ball up in succession. And the crowd there tonight of 34,232. Their best was against Carlton here. We're talking about non-showdown matches. And that figure of 40,116 was back in 97 against the Blues. They were hoping for about 40,000 here tonight. So just falling short of that.
When you consider, Chris, their first 3 matches, 26, 27 and 30, still a pretty good response.
Yeah, they're building. Worked hard on their membership, as do all clubs, of course, but Port Adelaide really went hard in the off-season. Primus again. Stevens was his target. In the way was Holland for Collingwood. Franco stole it. His handball goes astray, though. It was a good tackle played on him. Laid on him, I should say. Malloy ended up with it. Port Adelaide get it back through Carr. Now Burgoyne, the chance to go forward. Vacant centre half forward. No one there. Wanganeen comes out, but the bounce eludes him. Come to Wakeland, who lost it to Schofield, who went to James. James was a bit sloppy. Chad Corns now to Wanganeen, can turn on his right. Goes goalward, and finally, Port Adelaide have one. Wanganeen has 4.
It's almost, Gerald, as if nobody wanted to take responsibility for a moment.
I haven't seen them fumble as much as they have all season tonight, and they haven't played clean footy. There have been a couple of exceptions, namely Nick Stevens, and I think Wanganeen's also held his own. But geez, there's been absolutely no supply from the many midfielders that they've had dominating all season.
Terrific goal by Wanganeen. Excellent handball, left-handed by Corns. So Port within 5. Kick for Wanganeen. But Collingwood have had all the answers. This has been an outstanding performance by them. But Port, with every goal, they just give themselves a bit of a chance with this big crowd behind them. Burgoyne to Stevens. Long kick. Gee, it's a chance. It's a real chance. It was touched right on the line. He knew it was going close. They do need to kick 2 goals in a minute like this, don't they? To just give themselves a hope.
Yep. Oh, and it's touched by a Port Adelaide player too.
Gavin Wanganeen. He wished he could have just brought his hand down. Lockyer's kick out wide to Buckley. Chris, you were saying at 3/4 time in the break, his stats aren't big, but he has still had a huge influence, hasn't he?
Haven't they counted, though? Everything he's done. This time he finds Loney back in front of their defensive goal. Looks for Wakeland, members grandstand side, and the ball will beat. That's a good result for Port Adelaide. They can try now to keep the ball in the area and go back into attack.
Guys, the bench for the Power, Dew, Ackland and Guerrera, and also Darryl Wakeland, who looks like he'll take no further part. And I think he was probably the defining moment of what was turning the game. They really were unbalanced when he went off.
Bruce Linder down on the boundary. About 3 Port Adelaide players smother that footy. Comes to Roger James, so a chance to go goalward again. James starts it way right. Will it swing back? It won't. Oh, and Cockatoo Collins up against the post. And he needed to go for it because it was probably going to cannon into the post. So we see it on its way now. And another minor score to Port Adelaide.
Still giving themselves just a slim chance. Wonderful kick by Buckley to Bathiris. Didn't play in the first half on the field. He was interchange. Came on in the 3rd quarter. Tarrant, good mark, Rocker. Everything he's done tonight's had a bit of class about it. Long kick to centre half forward. 1-on-1 Holland and Lyle. Gee, Holland's really marked. I think he's paid at the umpire. It looked a great attempt, and I think he did mark it. Let's have a look. Holland. Lyle does get a bit of a hand. Does it hit? Oh, no, it hit the ground. Gee, it's a bad call, actually. And the umpire was on the right side. He wasn't on the blind side. So Holland to go back and have a shot to kick his 2nd goal.
That's a fairly costly call just at this point in time.
Leon Davis comes off, and he's replaced by Ben Johnson. Well, can Holland, who got the important third quarter goal that Gerard talked about, can he really put Port Adelaide out of its misery here by kicking a goal? And he has, and surely that's it now. There'll be no coming back. They couldn't possibly win from here.
Now, there's a glimmer of hope there just for a couple of minutes, wasn't there? Nick Stevens' goal attempt lobbing on the line or just being touched over the line was very hurtful. And you throw this in where the third umpire would have said play on or not out. And, well, that just adds insult to injury.
Well, we're 8 minutes into this final term. Port Adelaide have been kicking well over the 100-point mark every week, and at the moment they have 72. As Primus comes out of the middle with strength and brute force. James shows plenty of speed, goes to the goal square, running back Cockatoo Collins. Goal! Clever stuff. Well played Primus, well played James.
Well, we've tried to bury Port Adelaide 4 times, and yet they still keep bobbing up. And Roger James, well, we haven't seen much of him tonight. But for the first time, we saw some electrifying pace. And he just burst through the middle. There it was. Great running. And a pretty good kick as well. Made look even better by that mark and goal from Shea Cockatoo Collins.
Second shot for goal by James in the last minute. Cockatoo Collins almost on the end of the other one. Well, keep saying they're gone. They're 5 goals behind, and Collingwood has played so brilliantly tonight that probably about a 3% chance that Port could get out of it. But Collingwood leading by 5 here, and they've had all the answers. Primus to Franco, out of the centre to half forward. Cockatoo Collins, terrific handball. Schofield has to kick a goal. It's coming back, he's got it.
We're caught for 2 in a minute, Bruce. There's the 2.
Cockatoo Collins, important. Primus, important. The centre square break, important. Port Adelaide have got the scoreboard ticking over.
But I reckon this is the one you're talking about earlier in the third quarter, and it was the Franco Primus double, Chris. And I like to see the double when it actually goes from the ruckman straight to the player. It's a real skill of the game, and Primus has been executing it exceptionally well most of the season.
Well, can Port Adelaide do it? They're fighting ever so hard. Primus to Stevens. There it is there, Gerard, the one we're talking about. Kick forward by Port Adelaide. Wanganeen at ground level. Handball to Schofield. The goal kicker gets wrapped up in the tackle. Gee, a handball through there would have been interesting. Cockatoo Collins kick at goal. It won't get there. 2-on-1. Collingwood have the numbers. Nearly a Port Adelaide mark. Burgoyne. Now he regains the ball to Schofield. Oh, hits the post. Well, he handed that to him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a throw, isn't it?
But they're only throws if the umpire sees them. You slip them through underneath somebody's elbow, pretty hard to detect.
So Collingwood have loose players now down that outer side. Steinfort with it. Rocket will mark. And in fact, it's a free kick to Malloy, who was held out of the contest. He's got the ball centre wing outer side.
So Malloy just uncertain here. Doesn't have to panic. But you wouldn't want Collingwood to slow all this down after what happened last week. They've still got a very handy lead. Paxman, Tarrant at the back. Port, James getting important touches to Franco, to Jew. If he could get involved, then something really can happen here. It's a great kick to Treadray. Preston Jacomo, Treadray's got it. The little give. Wanganeen's kick 4. Steady, steady, goal. They're coming. Very late, but hard. It feels closer than the scoreboard suggests, to be honest. You feel like there's a kick in it, and yet Collingwood lead by 2.5.
Yeah, they've got to get another goal here, Collingwood, just to dampen the enthusiasm once more. But that was a vital kick from Stuart Jew. It was a risk. It had to be accurate, and it was.
Interesting, isn't it, that Stuart Dew is well held all night, and as soon as you lapse in concentration for the moment, he gets it. Penetrating kick. Fair to say, very good mark from Treadray as well when it was needed. Collingwood this time, out of the middle. Comes to O'Brien. Very important tonight to Betheris. Almost run down. Gets his kick away in the direction of Tarrant. Paxman's good with the fist. Buckley read it beautifully. Well tackled. Wrapped up in the tackle by Carr. And a free kick to Port Adelaide. Well, is it swinging again? The momentum with the power at the moment. Franco across goal. Montgomery at half-back. Started the night on Tarrant. Found the going a little bit tough. To meet in the middle. Long kick to centre half forward. Treadray this time. Presta Giacomo. They're sharing it, these two. What a battle. And what an important time of the game. Pressure-packed footy. Long kick to the middle of the ground. Direction of Fraser. At the back, Franco. While the other stood around, he was alert, picked it up, and now finds Chad Corns.
Gee, James has got a lot of it in the last quarter. Corns has kicked to the pocket. Cockatoo Collins got it. He's got beautiful hands. Porter steaming home here. Well, he'll be churning up inside, Mickey. There's nothing he can do now. He can make a move or two, but it's like a tide is sweeping in, isn't it?
Yes, it's a pretty fair push at this stage, and Ryan Loney there, you just saw him not going with Cockatoo Collins. He was always going to have to jump with him.
Jared, I reckon this is the biggest kick of the match today.
We've had a few, haven't we?
And I'm going to take back a lot of things I've said through the call. But if he goals here, it's almost an even money game. But he must goal here. 45 metres out. Coming back. He's kicked three. It's an even money game now. Well, they're little stars in Cockatoo Collins and Wanganeen. Between them have kicked 7 goals after half-time. Cockatoo Collins has got 3 and Wanganeen's got 4 of his 5 after the long break.
I'm not sure what the figures are, but I get the feeling that the drive has all been coming from the midfield. They're just dominating some of the centre bounce takeaways. Whilst the numbers may be a little bit more even, the ease at which Port are getting theirs out has led to goals.
In this second half, Roger James has been instrumental in the middle. Franco's come back into it in the last term as well. His first quarter was good. He died out of it. Now he's back. And so is Primus as well at these centre bounces. He gets it again to Stevens, who loses it. Buckley took it from Steinfort. The kick to half forward. Montgomery does well. His last couple of minutes have been good also. Primus in the middle will mark. Port Adelaide go into attack again. This time it's Francis. Cockatoo Collins on the lead. Didn't really want to mark it. Happy to let it come over the back, but it beat him to the boundary line. I think it was a deliberate ploy, but the ball had too much pace on it.
I'm told by a cameraman there's a big fundraiser at the Junction Hotel in Peterborough for Port Adelaide fans. They'd be on their bar stools right now.
So Collingwood a chance through Johnson from halfback. Mead and Fraser. Mead over the back. He's got Roger James if he wants, but they're too close to the boundary line. The ball out of play.
Gee, you'd want to look at the internet tonight if Port get up and find out how they did it. They've kicked 5 of the 7 goals in this quarter, but Collingwood still lead by a kick and a half. But they're desperate for a goal. That was close to out of bounds on the floor with O'Brien.
Leon Davis coming back onto the ground for the Maggies.
Gee, Buckley will be a key here, you reckon? Josh Carr, can he close him down in the last 10 minutes? Or can Buckley make a difference?
Primus had a big 10 minutes.
To James, who has been outstanding, but he just couldn't find the footy. Primus got into the back. O'Brien, oh gee, they're on here. Collingwood, real chance. Nick Davis loads it up. You reckon Tarrant will mark it or will go through for a goal? It doesn't. No free kick. Interesting. Well played, Paxman. Well, they had the chance to probably put Port away. I'm going to put probably every time I mention it from now on in front of a sentence. Francis gets hold of it.
Might be interesting to get a replay of that attempted mark by Tarrant.
Carr, who's got the job on Buckley. Treadray the target. Presta Giacomo's done a terrific job on him. Treadray's had his moments. It's been a big duel. Stevens out there. Still Stevens. Back to Carr. Carr sweeps it. Francis is a stunningly long kick. Doesn't quite get onto it. Primus and Cockatoo Collins. Neither of them. In the end, someone had to stay down. It's a Collingwood free kick and they're away.
Well, you'd suggest a mistake there from Port Adelaide. Everyone up, no one down. It allows Collingwood to bring the ball away. O'Brien took forever at centre wing, but in the end does it well. Cool head and finds Steinfort.
It's a matter of petrol tickets. Collingwood have run out of theirs.
Lucuria.
Can they hold on?
Over to O'Brien now. 19-7 for this man tonight. Always busy. Looks for Tarrant in the pocket. Can't take the mark. With him was Paxman. The ball out of play. And they'll all have a breather.
So much time to go when you can see. We've got nearly 10 minutes of footy left.
10 minutes of footy.
And Port have just got to be conscious of Nick Davis. We saw him just hanging back from the contest on that last chance at a shot at goal. He's obviously instructed to do that at these set ball situations. They've got to be manned up.
Burgoyne for Port Adelaide. Bangs it high, straight up in the air. 1-on-1. Stevens caught behind, but will win the footy.
Stayed on his feet.
Dangerous handball in a bit of traffic, but he found Franco. Important kick to Carr because they can steady now the power. They were under siege in their defensive area. Treadray gives a lead at centre wing. It's ignored.
Bruce, have Collingwood got any runners left on the bench?
Bruce Lindner down on the boundary line. We'll just check on the Collingwood bench. The ball with Mead. Still deep in defence, Port Adelaide. The leads are on at centre half back. One of them's Burgoyne. And he holds his hands out and says, where do I go now? It is so tight in the midfield. Everyone is manned up. So he'll bomb it long towards grandstand side centre wing. Wakeland went with Corns. Corns desperate at ground level. Collingwood happy to see it out of play.
Guys, they've got Didak, Holland, Lane and McKee on the bench, and they're just about to make a change now.
Lane coming on for Johnson, so not much there in terms of run effect. Johnson's a great runner. Franco's lifted enormously. The kick to Cockatoo Collins or Treadray. Wonderful hands, Treadray. Stopped it in his tracks. Well, another huge kick in the context of the match coming up.
Well, I reckon Mick Malthouse will be looking down and saying, is it worth taking the risk on a second gamer in Didak? He can run. He's fresh legs. He hasn't been on the ground, and that's what they need. They have spent so much juice and energy getting themselves into the winning position. And, well, there haven't been a lot of run done by Port Adelaide until this final 25 minutes. They've got to somehow get some run back into their middle.
It's a delicious prospect, isn't it, that Treadray's having this kick. So much talked about his kicking in the past. I think he's just missed. It was a good kick, actually, from the pocket. He's kicked 2-1, and Port Adelaide are within 8 points and doing all the scoring here and all the real purposeful attacking. 98 to 106. Collingwood hanging on. It would be an inspiring win for them, but a devastating loss at the same time. They are sitting on the edge here, Collingwood.
But that's what they're doing, Bruce. They're hanging on. A bit like last week, they've got to somehow manufacture a goal.
I don't think it's too big an exaggeration to say a loss here could decimate their season and a win could set them up. They've deserved to win. They've been the better team all night. But Port's spirit has brought them within 8 points here, and a whole lot of class and skill with it.
That was an important tackle from Josh Carr because Collingwood were away.
And Malthouse has thrown Buckley forward. So Mick has said to his skipper, go down there. The ball will get down there in the forward 50. You be on the end of it and kick the goal.
Bounce down at centre wing. Wilson went up high for Port Adelaide to Stevens, who tries to tap it to his own advantage. O'Brien got in the way and took the footy. Big tackle, Wilson. Collingwood trying to work it along through Lane. Lane ran out of play. The members at Footy Park screamed deliberate. And the umpire says, you must be kidding. Just went over the boundary line. And I think there's a blood rule situation.
Shane Wakeland.
And Wakeland going off.
So they'll need somebody for Corns. They've got 30 seconds to implement the change.
So McKee will be the man. A tall for a tall.
He's a ground leveler. You'd be backing Chad Corns.
So the Wakeland boys have been in the wars tonight.
Corns is going right down deep into the goal square.
Throw in. No one really goes with Primus, who handballs to Franco. Important player in the last turn. Cockatoo Collins, what a mark. What a grab from this man. And what a player he's become. Mark Williams, I know, is privately so ecstatic with the fact that he's stuck with this man. He's been vindicated. So many people in the off-season thought he's not up to it. Hasn't he turned everyone around?
Gerard, I said he had an important kick 5 minutes ago.
Che Cockatoo Collins has 3 goals straight. Boy, he loves kicking them too.
Anybody tense around here right now?
Well, it's just a great game, isn't it? So the Cocky, can he kick 4? Oh, no mistake. Straight through the middle.
Well, they're celebrating as if they've won the match. They haven't done that yet.
They haven't, but the sides have become great sides, have the unbelievable belief in their own ability. And even when the circumstances get so bad that everybody, like the commentators, have written them off. I think you and I bet you were the 5-minute mark and me at the 7, Bruce. They just go back and say, well, all right, we'll turn it on. But Collingwood aren't written off yet. Think time to get Buckley back up into the middle of the ground. He's in fact in the boundary, in the centre square. They have got to kick some goals to win this match.
I agree. You feel as if Collingwood now have to kick at least one more goal to win. Port with so much going for them here. They've kicked the last 5 goals of the game. Brodie Holland put Collingwood 6 goals in front when he kicked his 2nd goal. Buckley, well done to Tarrant, who's way up the ground. Now Steinfeld and Rocker over the back. That's the play. It's a great kick. Oh, terrific Matt Rocker. Wonderful play.
And a double blow because Primus is down in the middle of the ground.
Davis kicks a goal. Davis kicks the goal.
Double whammy. Goal to Collingwood. Brilliant play, Buckley.
Oh no, the stretcher's coming out.
And I'd say that Primus has, well, he's either done the shoulder or the joint or the knee joint. Let's I'll tell you what, Anthony Rocker, we highlighted the fact that he missed the goal last week. Let's highlight the fact that he took a brilliant mark there. He didn't kick the goal, but he may as well have.
Gee, what drama here. I mean, the symbol of Port's season almost, in terms of their resurgence or emergence, whichever way you want to talk about it. Their captain, who's just looking at the expression on his face, he's not happy. He points down towards the left knee, I think.
It's the knee. He's got the look as if he knows exactly what's happened. Let's see how he lands. Couldn't glean much from that. But straight away he goes down holding that right knee.
Yeah. Well, it's a different scenario. We had Matthew Robin taken from the ground at this point last week.
Yep.
Very different scenario. Fremantle had all the momentum at that stage, and Adelaide kicked 4 goals in 5 minutes after that.
He's had a knee reconstruction before, and the hands on the head I don't think is because of pain. I think it's because he knows what's happened. He's probably heard a pop, a crack in the joint. Let's hope it's not right.
So there is contact there with Rocker. Primus did point to his left knee, but if it isn't, we've got to be careful here, but could there be a bigger injury in AFL footy right now than this one if it is a long sustaining injury that will put him out for the season?
Well, particularly with Leighton Barnaby French out also, and it impacts on one of the major contenders.
I mean, right now you'd be the All-Australian ruckman, wouldn't you?
Yep. I think, Bruce, what he may have said, but his leg went this way rather than pointing to his knee. It could be a million things, so let's hope it's not the Big Mac, but I reckon that'll be odds-on favourite at the moment.
Well, we thought this match had most things, didn't we? But there's tragedy as well in the form of the Port Adelaide skipper here. This mountain of a man who they've now got to take off the ground. So how will the players respond? I mean, the injury we'll find out in the next few days and over the weeks to come, and the impact it might have on Port Adelaide in 2001. But in the next 5 or 6 minutes, find out just who can take this match. Such an important goal for Collingwood a moment ago.
Well, there's no evidence from the replay as to what the injury is.
So Wakeland back on for McKee, but the big off is that Primus is taken from the ground.
But I reckon Chris, the way he's just holding their hands on the head, he is resigned to the fact that he is in a big load of trouble.
I think so.
An interesting setup here because we're going to have obviously a crucial bounce. Ackland will be on for Port Adelaide, but Collingwood have just got 3 players in their forward line, and the Port Power, or the Power,
They've got 9.
Have got 9 and about four in their goal square down to the boundary line. What can you tell us, Prez?
Well, I can tell you, right, it is their right, it is his right knee. How serious it is, they're about to assess it now, but you know, when you do a knee like that, it's not good.
Well, Ackland got over Fraser. Davis punched it forward to Franco, to half forward. Burgoyne just overran it, but Thieris, Port Adelaide keep it in. Carr
Knock it
there,
out, knock it
Collingwood
out.
hold it up, ball up. Carr saying free kick, surely.
I think everybody would have been saying that. He dived on the ball.
It's like Gerard, it's a little dash for the post now, isn't it? We've got 5 minutes of frantic footy now after the stoppage. And Port have got to perform an amazing trick here and kick 2 goals. That's if Collingwood don't get any. Still trying to get it out. Buckley, Steinfort. Clever by Freeborn. Leon Davis doesn't take control. They want the boundary line, they get it. Boundary throw-in.
Just written down some players, Bruce, that Collingwood picked up over the summer. Steinfort, Malloy, Holland, Wakeland and James Clement. They were never a high-profile group of players, but they have just been absolutely terrific in giving for this footy club.
Ackland trying to make it happen for Port Adelaide. Buckley was there again, though. Very important. Wilson ran into a brick wall and came off sprinting. Kicks it up forward. Clement over the back, tried to fist it away. Now Sockers to the boundary line. Jew has stolen it. Kick it, goal! Has he kicked it? They're celebrating Port Adelaide. Miraculous kick. Back to 2 points in favour of Collingwood. What a kick from Stuart Jew.
Gee, what about Wilson's,
that was
Wilson's play there? I mean, to break the tackle and keep his feet.
Look, he's an unsung hero, Bruce. He is so hard, Michael Wilson.
Had the opportunity, just had to kick it away, and Clement will be ruining the missed opportunity there. Just had to soccer it away or put his body over the ball. Took the option of the soccer kick and just didn't square it.
Gee, what a last quarter. 7 goals to Port, 3 to Collingwood. Collingwood led by 5 at 3/4 time and they've kicked 3. They might still lose. Stevens.
He's thrown that ball out.
He did throw it to Franco. Franco long, cockatoo. Collins launches, doesn't take the mark. Loney, Jew crashed into Port Adelaide, banging into one another. Collingwood holding it up.
Geez, it's a vital free kick missed. Nathan Buckley takes a free kick in the centre of the ground. The ball ends up in the goal square. Chris Tarrant's one out, or Malloy's one out.
Stevens did throw it to Franco and the free kick missed. So Port within 50 metres here. Ackland probably just won it. Leon Davis 2 goals in this last quarter. Runs away hard, not a good kick. Paxman went to ground. Tarrant, such a competitor. Paxman on the up. Montgomery breaks the tackle. Looks up. Goes to centre half forward and coughs it up. He coughs it up to Buckley.
Got to play a wide. It seems to be tough to know whether you hold on with 2 points, but with over 3 minutes of play remaining, I still think they need a goal, Collingwood.
You have to attack, surely. Loney's got it. It's centre wing. They're taking plenty of time, Collingwood. Rocker's been a real focal point up forward. Can they look for a Rocker mark? Goes towards the half-forward flank and out on the full.
Unbelievable.
So, a bad mistake from Collingwood at this point of the game. Carr will bring it in. Oh, what a kick. This has missed the mark by a mile too. But Stevens hasn't got anyone within 30 metres of him. And now he lifts the eyes and he can go to centre half-back Montgomery. And has made 2 mistakes in a row. Montgomery, Fraser at centre half-forward for Collingwood. And he has goal. Well, Montgomery's last 60 seconds he would want to forget forever.
That was unbelievable.
But you've got to praise Josh Fraser for his alertness.
Yep. Well, he's 6'6",
And how athletic.
6'7", and he's a smart thinker. He made a blue in the Anzac Day match. In fact, he made 2. They were a little bit similar in the reverse, and this time he was able to kick the magnificent goal. What a game. What a last quarter.
What an unbelievable match. I mean, it's just all happened here. Poor Brett Montgomery, you really feel for him.
2 incredible areas. So Ryan Loney, he would be absolutely relieved because that was a shocking kick out in the full.
But Port had set it up so cleverly, hadn't they? Stevens going into the corridor, and they were away. But Fraser able to kick the goal. Back to 2. Davis has been pretty important here. Franco did well. Back to Davis. Davis sweeps the handball. Tarrant couldn't find it. Paxman. Tarrant finds Paxman all right with a good tackle. And a ball up. Well, there's Matthew Primus. Boy, what would be running through his mind right now? He's such a great team man. He's probably thinking about the result more than the knee, but the big picture is all about the injury. Can Port find 2 goals in 2 minutes, or can Collingwood absolutely close it once and for all with a Davis 3rd goal in the last quarter? Well done. No, he ran too far. He ran too far.
No, it's a free to Collingwood, or is it?
No, it's a free to Port.
Thought he was pointing the other way. And a 50 maybe? No.
Well, 2 minutes remaining. 2 goals to be got.
Francis, this kick will have to be spot on, and it is. Finds Josh Carr. Port Adelaide need to get a hurry on. Several leads coming grandstand side. One of them's Nick Stevens. He'll get it on the bounce. Has to get around the opponent in Fraser. How important has he been in the last couple of minutes? For a big man. Got it to Betheris. Kick to the forward pocket. Josh Carr leads in the race for it. Can go over the top and does. Fabian Francis now. They need to clear it long and quickly, Port Adelaide. To Mead at centre-half back. Runs into Rocker. Gets around him. Now goes short. Roger James. Francis can kick it long. Should go to centre-half forward. It'll fall just short of there. Dew makes front position. Off hands, it's all Port Adelaide. Ackland, the big fella, gets tackled. Holding the footy. No, umpire says play it on. To the advantage of Collingwood now. Tyson Lane has Fraser, who really in the end has played a very good game. Fraser to the run of Lane, centre wing. Collingwood have really lifted all of a sudden. Rocker's loose at half forward. And this fella has played a very good game also. 8 marks for Anthony Rocker. Hasn't kicked a goal, but you would back him, well, certainly distance-wise here, it won't be a problem. He's a prodigious kicker of the footy. And surely Collingwood safe now as the clock ticks inside the final 30 seconds. And it really turned out to be a brilliant game of football. But Collingwood have held on, and held on well. Rocker starts at left. It stays out there, but it's elementary now. Collingwood got a 18-11, 119. 9 points in front of the Power, 16-14, 110.
Gee, 1 week in footy. We're not going to replay that kick for goal from Rocker ever again, are we? But we did last week. Collingwood have deserved it. They really have tonight. But you've got to give Port credit too. If they were to go down, it was important. I think they went down fighting, and they certainly have. The kick to centre wing, Wilson to Carr. That's it. Their winning run has come to an end. Mickey Malthouse. It's a terrific win. Eddie Maguire within the president. It's a great win in the history of a great club. It really is. But another very good team went down in the style that suggests that they're going to be around this year. But Matthew Primus is the huge story to come out of this match.
Yes, it could have ramifications right through until September, and he'd be a pretty happy man, Nathan Buckley. They were devastated last week when they should have beaten the Kangaroos, but this time they prevailed and they were challenged
Let's
right
go down.
to the end.
Sorry, Joe. Let's go down to Bruce Lindner.
Well, I'm with Chris Tarrant. Marvellous 3 quarters, but geez, they threw everything back at you, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I mean, we knew they were going to throw everything back at us in the second half, and we were sort of expecting that, but to our credit, we were a little bit up last week and we lost the game, and I think the boys had that sort of in the back of their mind, but just wrapped to get over the line today.
You had a good little relationship there with O'Brien. He was able to pick you out on a number of occasions. I mean, you must have liked the matchup earlier against Montgomery. You had a couple of inches on him.
Yeah, well, Montgomery played on me last time and he did a real good job on me, so I wasn't sort of surprised he come on me, but Shane O'Brien's got great skills, and I mean, if you're leading out from full forward and he's kicking it to you, it makes your job a lot easier.
This was a magnificent win by the club.
Yeah, look, I don't think we've won over here, and I don't think we've beaten Port Adelaide for about the last 4 times, so it's fantastic to get over the line today.
Great game, Chris. Go back and enjoy yourself. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Bruce. Gee, Brett Montgomery, what would he be thinking right now? Nathan Buckley, we know what he is. Port dragging themselves off the ground. I mean, such a fine line, isn't it? Josh Fraser, he was in the same position as that young fella, Brett Montgomery, a couple of weeks ago. It's a tough game, isn't it? And that's why you've got to enjoy the wins, and it was a great win for Collingwood, it really was. Their second quarter had to be seen to be believed at times.
It may have been the finest victory under Mick Malthouse. The win against Carlton a couple of weeks ago would have been up there with the best, but this one they weren't expected to win. They were at a ground where they haven't won for a long time, and they were challenged, and they looked gone for all money, didn't they? 5 minutes with 5 minutes to play, Shane Collins had the hands in the air as if he thought they were going to win, but they found one last burst.
Collingwood doing a lap of honour here. It can set their season up. They were 8th going into this round. They're now 4-4. A couple of other clubs are on 4-4. They've got St Kilda next week at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, which will be a huge game, you think, in terms of attendance. Bring back a lot of old memories. But they've got the chance to really push forward here. They've lost a lot of close matches this year. They deserve to win a close one. They did against Carlton. They've done it again here. And they've got a whole lot to look forward to. But, well, Port, they just come back to the pack a little tonight, but they're still very much in the top 4 of this competition. But it's a big trick here. Look at Eddie's right down there with them. And,
well, they're going to sing the club song down there, Bruce, in front of their supporters.
Terrific stuff. There must be so many people back in Melbourne that are singing along with them. Every trick in the book, well, when I say trick, I mean, things have changed in footy, haven't they? I mean, every sort of situation now is tried. I mean, this is different. You go right down to the pocket, stand like this and give it the ball.
It's good to see. This is what's unique about Australian rules footy.
Terrific win. Really was. What a game it was. Gee, boy. Red faces up here, I can tell you, a couple of times. Not with
it was
you, Chris.
breathtaking, wasn't it?
I gave Port away 10 times.
I sat on the fence.
Great match. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll be back with more right after this.